Okay, the lads. What is going on? Cheeky little Friday night stream. Friday evening. We'll call it evening. Hope you're all good. Obviously, lineups are all locked and loaded. I've just seen an absolute disaster of a notification for myself, lads. Have a look at this beauty. Klein Hansel has absolutely destroyed my under-23 limited team already. Friday night curse, lads, is in full effect. Big time. 4-0 away to Schalke. Killer. By the way, Yari Vasharan back on the bench for Anderlecht is massive. Callum says, it's not, Callum says, is it a members only stream? No, it's not a members only stream, Cal. Anyone can watch if that makes sense, but I will only be reviewing, members galleries in that sense. It's just part of the perks that, we offer on the channel in that sense. But yeah, no, you're more than welcome to hang out and chill with us, mate, 100%. Yeah, definitely not a members only stream for sure. Come and chill. But yeah, Madsen's in, but I don't think that makes a difference. Jonathan, what's going on, mate? Balki, by the way. The Turkish Trent. If you've not seen the Looking Up with Led most recent episode, we spoke about the Turkish Trent, Bayumin Balki. This is like a completely throwaway lineup, to be fair. And we're looking, we're alive. I thought it was a coin collecting lineup, but it looks like it could be a little bit more. Obviously, Klein Hansel has absolutely screwed this over, but I don't know. Like, I'm not too bothered, to be honest, because this was like, even though I built this first on my road to glory, like, yeah, I'm wasting a good Campos fixture. I'll be honest, the rest of them, lads, I'm not too bothered. A little bit. I'll miss Drioech maybe, but it is what it is. Tangle Berry, what's going on, mate? Alex Coombs, what's going on, lads? Motadace, what's going on, mate? Appreciate you all being here. Obviously, for this gallery review stream. It's our first one, sort of the kind. And yeah, it's going to be a work in progress, obviously, as one of the perks of being a member of the channel, which obviously I massively appreciate you doing. And yeah, every sort of end of the month, obviously I know this is the start of the month, it's the 1st of December today, but around this time every month in that sense, we'll just be sort of reviewing galleries and just hoping that I can give you some sort of information about what you're doing / what you're not doing. I'm not saying I'm some sort of fucking Sorare messiah, because I'm not, but I have been around for a little while, and I do think I do have some valuable sort of information to give in that sense, that hopefully can be like curated to your own gallery. Like, it's easy to say like, buy better players to everyone as like a blanket statement. Unfortunately, that yeah, it's probably true, but unfortunately it just doesn't. Life and Sorare life isn't as simple as that a lot of the time. There's obviously budget constraints, etc., which we will we had to sort of be aligned to, and yeah, it is what it is. But I've got like maybe 15, maybe a little bit less or so galleries to get through, which will be fun. So I'm just having a look at, I just need to go into that Discord, which yeah, we will be shortly getting into everyone's sort of gallery reviews. I don't really have a time frame as far as what I'm going to be spending on each gallery. In that sense, it's gonna sort of differ gallery to gallery. Charlie, what's going on, mate? Thank you for joining us. And yeah, mate, it's just it'll kind of be probably a 5 to 10 minute job, I assume, on each sort of gallery. Probably hour and a half, 2 hour stream, which should be fun. Alex Coombs just got Lavor Magic, and the 23 goalkeeper from Rewards. Didn't he just get a clean sheet, right, for Istra? Would that be correct? I think, yeah, he did. Yeah, it's not a bad time to pick one up. I know it's annoying that you haven't benefited from that clean sheet per se, but what's his next fixtures like? Let's have a little butchers at him. See what he's got cooking for you, mate. That's an interesting reward, though. So L15 is very low, which is fun in a weird way. They've got Gorica, Lokomotiva, Zagreb, which obviously isn't great. Riker. Fixtures don't look great, I'll be honest, in the next 4. The next fixture's okay, but I'll be honest, it does look like a tough run of form. But mind you, 3 clean sheets out of 4. So Istra have definitely changed things around a little bit, because they were struggling to start the season, weren't they, big time. But looks like they've sort of turned things around a little bit. Okay, they're not playing the better teams in that sense in the league, but, they've done what they needed to do in that sense, and win the games they need to win. But yeah, definitely a tough run of fixtures to come up. I don't know whether you need him or not, Alex, as far as like, is he vital to you? I know you just want him, so he can't be that vital, but like, yeah, just to be aware, there is tough fixtures coming ahead. So I can't imagine he will score that well over the next couple of games. If I'm being honest, that's just a guess. So yeah, you sort of choose what you do with that information in that sense. I do actually, we might as well do it here. I don't have any. I don't have any. Well, I do have rewards, but I don't have any cards to open, so why not? Mohammed said, I got Thiago from Club Brugge. I feel like his price is inflated. Do I sell? I'll have to have a look. I don't know what his price is or anything. He's the striker, right? We'll have to have a little look at that. But, lads, we won 2 thresholds. Super rare and rare. Honestly, first time I think that's ever happened in a midweek for me. So very, very pleased with that, to be honest. Very, extremely happy, as you could imagine. Yeah, that's really big. I'm buzzing with that, to be fair. What were you going to say? Thiago, is it? From Club Brugge. So under 23 until 2025. So he's only 22. I mean, 80 last game. Not bad. Okay, against Besiktas. Well, that's a decent score, by the way. So it doesn't seem like he starts in the league. Seems to play in the Europa or Europa Conference, whatever they play in, a little bit. Yeah, he doesn't look like an unbelievable card. Last season he was dynamite towards the end of the season, judging off this. I mean, I'll be honest, I've not seen him play, so it's hard for me to really give you a sort of that much of an opinion. But he seems like he scores goals. He's back on a little bit of a heat. Or 3 goals in 3 goals in 3.5 games, basically. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's useful on the weekends, but in the midweeks he could be quite useful, which is fun. Tristan, what's going on, mate? Anyone got cheap forwards for Cap 240? I'm sure someone in the chat can help you out with that. Callum says, trying my own under 23 senior road to glory, but working with a similar budget and trying to win the likes of Saka. That's the goal, mate. It's not easy. I'll tell you that for free. It really isn't easy, as maybe you've seen with the road to glory. Yeah, I probably bought cards at maybe inflated prices start of the season. Probably didn't help too much. But yeah, it's hard, mate. It's hard. I'm not saying you won't do it. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely merit in trying. But yeah, don't be disappointed if you don't do it, because it's not easy. But the goal is there. Like, you're able to attain it, if you're lucky enough in that sense, if everything aligns. So yeah, why not? Well, why can't it happen for you? It's got to happen to someone, right? So I wish you all the best with that, Cal. But we're going to get into our first little gallery review. Like I said, this is going to be a work in progress, but first up we have Sorare, who is very much a member of the channel. I'm not sure if you're here with us, Rizzle, but if you're not, no problem. Obviously watch this back and hopefully we can sort of give you something to work with. But Rizzle says its goals are getting into rare and eventually rare under 23 and Cap 240 rare. Currently entering under 23, Cap 240 and pretty much every limited competition I can. I really want to move into rare, but I don't know where to start. Kickoff, I don't know. Interesting sort of dilemma in that sense. So gallery valuations 1.6k. And I guess obviously it's a full limited gallery, right? I assume. Bart's in there. Big Bart. Lisandro Martinez, Rashford, Xavi Simons. Some good cards in here, at limited as far as names go. Couple of Celtic boys, Kulusevski, Basuma, Onana. I'm guessing you're a United fan, aren't you, Rizzle? Some Sociedad boys in there as well. Okay. It's interesting because, it'll come down to, a lot of people in this position, it's definitely going to come down to a case of, you're full limited right now. Your gallery's worth 1.5k in this case for Rizzle. He's got a nice Cincy collection, which is fun. Look, this collection, or this sort of, amount of cards to play with at this, for this scarcity is a lot. You're not a whale by any means, but you're definitely closing in on that. You've almost, you haven't got the upper echelon of cards. I'm not seeing your Haalands in here. I'm not seeing, as far as I'm aware anyway, maybe I've just messed up there, but I don't think we saw them, did we? Hartman, Valverde. There's some very good cards here. Bruno's obviously top tier card for sure. He's probably the only one I've seen. Okay, him and Xavi Simons maybe. Savio, when I'm talking star rare cards in that sense. Luis Diaz. Some wicked cards here, don't get me wrong. But, like, you know, it's not a gallery just full of, like, the unbelievable cards on this game, right? You've probably got, like, high to medium level cards. I wouldn't say, like, super high. One or two of them. But regardless, right? This can be fun. Like, it's fun to play with a gallery this size at limited because you have X amount of cards. I don't know how many there is exactly here. I'm going to say, what's that? 200. Okay, is that including, let's just go limited to see if that, yeah, 148 limited cards, which is, you know, a good amount. So let's just see what, you know, you've sort of put out this weekend as far as lineups go. So you've got the Winter Comps, we've got La Liga, Under 23, Serie A. So you got Champ America, obviously Cincinnati's still playing. Great. Winter Comp, fun. Winter Comp, and Winter Comp. That's fun. Oh, no, that's Specialist, sorry. Specialist, Under 23, Specialist, Challenger, Academy, Bundesliga, Cap 270. So, like, this is the dilemma, Rizzle, right? Just to put it sort of bluntly. You're going to have way more fun playing this way. It's as simple as that. You just are. Like, this gallery at rare level, as far as how much it would cost, let's just say it costs 15k. Let's just 10x it, like, just for sort of scarcity's sake in that sense. Yeah, limiteds, you know, there's 1,000 limiteds, there's, you know, 100 rares. I know it doesn't work in that conjunction, but let's just call it a 10k gallery then, let's say. And obviously your gallery's worth, say, 1.5k. So, you know, you can have a lot of fun at limited for 1.5k, as probably shown here. 5% winning sort of percentage isn't bad. It's not amazing. It's not terrible, though, at all. So, you know, you are clearly able to win at this level. The wins aren't obviously going to be... I don't know how... You know, it doesn't actually... Will it show me, like, how many times you've podiumed? I guess it will. So here are all the... So gaming yield, 63 pounds. And then total rewards valuation, £100. Okay. You've kept 4 rewards, whatever. Right, okay. So, like... Yeah, MBen10 says there, get him into 240 rare. Like, this is what I was getting at, right? Connor, what's going on, mate? Sorry, I didn't see the message. Appreciate you popping in, Con. And Gecko says, how do I get in on the gallery reviews? Gecko, you just have to become a member. It's as simple as that. I have a membership sort of side to my channel. It's £1 a week if you want to join. And yeah, there's loads of perks. Gallery reviews being one of them. If you join tonight, obviously you would get a gallery review. I build lineups every week for my members if they want their lineups built. And there's a scouting stream basically every week. And there's a private Discord. So basically four sort of perks there. And yeah, it's up to you, obviously. You know, if you want to join, I'm not forcing you to do anything. But yeah, that's how you get in on the gallery reviews. It's as simple as that. So yeah, like sort of MBen10 is basically saying there. With the 1.6k gallery, which is what I'm working with here. You know, if I was fresh to come into Sorare, from a what's the word, I can't think of it, like ROI perspective, you've got to come in and play Cap 240 rare, lads. It's as simple as that. Now, I know this is a different situation. We have a gallery worth 1.6k, so it's a little bit different in that sense. Like, you'd have to go sell these cards, and that's not to say you'd be able to get that amount for this gallery. I don't know what you could get for it. Let's just call it 1.2. I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers. Even with 1.2k, I'm very confident your ROI at Cap 240 rare would be incredibly higher. And I mean incredibly higher. Gecko says, sold you on it. Gecko, I really appreciate that, mate. Honestly, it means a lot to me, genuinely. So yeah, your gallery will 100% be reviewed tonight, mate. And yeah, welcome to the channel membership, lad. Yeah, there's a Discord link somewhere after you've sort of signed up. I don't know if you've been able to figure that out. It's a bit tricky, but it's in there somewhere under one of the perks. You'll get you into the Discord and whatever, and we can sort of run it from there. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, right? Like, if I'm Rizzle, I have to ask myself, do I want to have fun on this game? Which you have to. Like, you can't play Sorare without it. Like, you need to have fun. But am I, like, how far on the scale? So you've got fun here, and you've got ROI here. Like, where do I want to be? You obviously want to be somewhere in the middle, obviously. Like, with the 1.5k gallery, you could easily play Cap 240, which is, say, 500 quid of that. Maybe even less. You could do that way cheaper. Rare goalkeepers right now, playing keepers in Europe, are worth, like, You can get them for 200 to 300 quid at like the lower end. Outfielders are probably going to cost you another 200-300 quid, let's say, maybe a bit more. You're looking at 600-700 quid max, I would say, for like a relatively competitive Cap 240 lineup that obviously can yield you the $50 every game week or every weekend. In your case, if you're not playing weekends, which is obviously going to trump this gaming yield. Like, I'm not sort of disrespecting Rizzle here in any way, but like a £63 gaming yield could easily be improved if you were playing Cap 240 rare with the budget you have, if that makes sense. So I'm not telling you just to sell every one of your players, every one of your limiteds, and go and play Cap 240 rare, but maybe transition into it slowly. Maybe sell off X amount of these limiteds, let's say 500 quid's worth. So you have £1,000 gallery worth of limiteds, and then maybe have £500 to sort of play with. If you have to add in a little bit of capital, like if you can afford to, then great, bump that up to 600-700 quid. And then you've got 700 quid there to build a Cap 240 threshold team, which is definitely doable. So like, Rizzle, my advice to you would be slowly transition, or maybe not even slowly, maybe just try and get out of 1/3 of your limiteds. Now, I don't know exactly, who you should get rid of in that sense. It'd be very hard for me to go through that like right now. You'd obviously have to try and get rid of, some of your better cards because they're going to be worth a little bit more, right? BitHorse, what's going on, mate? You will be second in this gallery review, so make sure you're, you're here, so that's great. But yeah, basically what I'm getting at, mate, is, you're going to have more fun playing at limited with that gallery valuation in that sense. Like, you've got 150 cards to choose from. It's fun. It is. But the ROI is not there. Now, like I said, you have to really think, where do I want to be on that scale? And I'm probably going to reiterate this point to basically everyone in this gallery review, but it's going to like mean more to certain galleries than others. But definitely for Rizzle in this situation, I'd be saying, look, try and somehow sell X amount of these limiteds. I wouldn't say half, I'd probably say 33% roughly. Have a war chest to then go out and start buying Cap 240 rare players. It's basically how I would do it. In my head, it might be a bit more difficult than that in practice. That is just me in theory sort of talking that through. Sounds relatively not straightforward, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not rocket science in that sense. So that would definitely be my advice to you, Rizzle, if that makes sense. And yeah, like, it is what it is. Let me know. I know you're not here now, but obviously we'll get your feedback in the Discord when you watch this back, and hopefully that helps and gives you some food for thought. But yeah, I wouldn't be playing rare kickoff, mate. As far as like you asked if you want to go up to rares. I think you've got to realistically sell a good portion of these limiteds and go into Cap 240 rare. That would be my advice. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor in that sense, so take this with a pinch of salt. But that's kind of what that would be my sort of advice to you. I was just checking up. Do you need a minimum to look at a gallery? No, I don't need a minimum to look at a gallery, Cal. Whatever your gallery size is, there's no minimum at all. Lars says, can you check my gallery? Lars, unfortunately, gallery reviews are for members only. It's a perk that comes with becoming a channel member in that sense. So yeah, I can't. I feel bad giving out free gallery reviews if people have paid for that privilege in that sense, and thankfully people have in that sense. So yeah, my hands are tied a little bit. Like, I feel quite bad, but it is what it is. It's part of the perks of the channel. Like, I don't make much money making YouTube videos, so being able to offer sort of a service in that sense through the memberships really helps me in that sense. So it is what it is in that sense. So I am sorry, Lars, but it does come with a price. It's £1 a week to become a member, and yeah, you are eligible for monthly gallery reviews. I'll build your lineups, etc., etc. I don't really want to keep reiterating that, but that it is what it is. Right, BitHorse, notice Brest play their game in hand this midweek, so need to get a forward and a mid. Interesting. I appreciate you understanding, Lars. I really, really do. And same goes for you, Pedro. I don't know if you caught what I just said then, but yeah, I would just reiterate the same thing to you that I just said to Lars. But you're more than welcome to hang out and chill with us, guys. It's not a members only stream in that sense. So yeah, Rizzle, I hope that helped, and we're gonna move on to BitHorse, good friend of the channel, of course, obviously in the chat as well. Okay, so BitHorse wants to win more rare cards and finish higher, which obviously I guess we all kind of do, but makes sense. He competes in Rare 240, All-Star Rare, and Rare Plus, but not sure if I have the right combination of players. Would appreciate your opinions on who I could sell, maybe to fund for, blah, blah, blah. And you would like to know where I should be targeting to win more. My current strategy was to move to Ligue 1 and Bundesliga, so I know more about those teams. Also, I thought about selling my Arsenal collection to add more quality rares. Not sure what you think. So my first question to you would be then, BitHorse, is like, how much joy does the Arsenal collection bring you in that sense? Like, I love my You Are a Red collection. Like, I do. I wouldn't sell it in that sense. I'm just posing the question to you. Like, what does this mean to you in that sense? Like, what does it win you, first of all? If it doesn't win you anything, then, you know, how much fun... Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Sorry, lads, I don't know what happened there. My screen messed up. But yeah, that basically going back to that is like, you know, what does it bring to you in that sense? Like, does it yield you much? I don't know if we can like check in that sense. Obviously, we can. I'm sure we could see it. I don't know why it's not showing us it in that sense. But oh, here we go. Okay, so you've not got Ramsdale, you've got Turner and Hine, blah 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 blah. Like, what would you get for this? Is basically a better question. How much is that worth, realistically? So we can go players, filter. So how much is your... Let's go by scarcity. Not been winning much from just by combination. So open to selling as I support them outside the game. Right. So you are open to selling. You support Arsenal. Right, I got you. So you've got 60 limited cards. Can we see roster price? I just want to see how much your limiteds are worth. So your limiteds are worth 500 quid, and they are based... Okay, so the Arsenal... Oh, yeah, so you got a little bit more outside of the Arsenal collection. So they're worth about 500 quid, let's say, roughly. 400 quid, he thinks. Okay. And then, obviously, rare cards. I mean, you've got some good cards here. I'm not going to lie. Like, standouts are obviously Griffo, Joachim Anderson... you know, stating the obvious, but like David Raum's pretty decent, obviously. Højbjerg could be a very good MLS piece for next season. I would definitely probably keep hold of him unless you're not looking to play MLS. Maybe sell him towards the MLS gets a bit nearer. Cramrich, obviously a good forward, can definitely score you goals. Chao Henrique, when he's back fit, could be a big scorer for you. And then like I see a bit of a drop off, which is fine. Shaqiri as well, obviously decent score on his day. Olsen, decent card. Like, there's good cards here, don't get me wrong. Like, you know what? Let me see what your gaming yield is. I'm kind of like baiting everyone out here. That's a big gaming yield, by the way. £1,000 gaming yield is very, very big. Fair play. So, I mean, I don't know how you've won all that. I'm guessing £700 of that has come from Threshold, I assume, BitHorse. Roughly, if we're talking... You've kept £300 of the valuations. You won Ndogi. Very nice card. Adam Buska. So you've won cards. You haven't won a ton, obviously, but that's understandable. Where are you winning them from? All-Star Rare Pro, Cap 240 Rare, Cap 240 Rare, All-Star Rare, All-Star Rare. So you've won, you know, the three comps that you kind of play, which, you know, we build your lineups for most weeks. You're winning. You've won like an equal amount, I guess, from all three. Now, like, I know you want to play, you know, I know you have a couple of super rares, and that's great. Like, for me, I would probably, thinking about it, like you've got three rare lineups, haven't you? And then however many limited, yeah? My sort of, what I'm thinking in my head is like, do you really need to play limited realistically? Like, how much fun do you get out of playing it is basically what I'm going to ask you. If you get like not that much fun, then I would consider maybe trying to sell it and move those funds into rare, because ultimately, you know, the ROI at rare, I know I'm going to bat on about it all night, lads, but, you know, the ROI at rare is obviously better, you know, at rare than it is at limited. State the obvious, Harry, right? And not everyone can get up there, and I understand that, but BitHorse is in a position where he's already there, and he's already been able to win a good amount of thresholds, like you really have, Jesus. £700 in thresholds is mental, and then £300 in gallery, in rewards is also incredible, really. And a £1,000 gaming yield, and your gallery's worth 3k. So like 30% of your gallery is effectively rewards in that sense. I know you could have withdrawn or whatever, you know, but you know what I'm saying, just like flat numbers wise. So like in my head, and then BitHorse says, that's exactly what I thought. I wanted to see what you thought. I only jumped back to get the collection. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There is fun in having collections and stuff, but like, you could also look at it if like you read, if you're on this game to maximize your ROI, which obviously someone like me, I also am able to make collections as well. But you might be in a position, BitHorse, where right now collections might have to wait. And it's just a case of like, you know, what can I gain from this game? What can I yield week on week to build my lineup bigger and stronger? Like, if you're really hitting the threshold every week, you can go and buy those limited collections again if you really need to, if that makes sense. Bithole says withdraw. What's that? Love that. Louis says Balky with a bar game, but decisive to save it. So good. He's the Turkish Trent, isn't he, Lewis? Turkish Trent. But yeah, Bithole's basically what I'm getting at is I definitely consider selling the limiteds. And then as far as like having 3 rare teams, I'll be honest, I don't think right now you have enough quality to play 3 rare teams and like compete over the 3. If I'm being completely honest, like if I'm you, I want to be not guaranteeing the threshold every week, but like I want a really good chance at the threshold every week. And I'm not saying you don't, but like, you know, we're playing like, you know, a Forsberg here wouldn't normally play, would he? Like, I'm not saying you'd have to play Forsberg every week, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you do have a limited amount of players to play. You know, you don't have that many rares, which is understandable, and that's fine. So that's where the funding of the limiteds would go into that. But I also do think you could probably sell some of these sort of fringe limited rare cards that like might not do you too much sort of harm. And I would build, I know you've got 2 super rares, and that's fine, but like, and it's an interesting stack. I kind of like what you've done, to be honest. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't follow Brest that often, but let's just go into Brest. How many times have they kept a clean sheet this year? Once, twice, 3 times. They've since May. Okay, May was so like this is the start of the season. They've kept a clean sheet twice, right? So like, you know, your boys are only going to pop off if they get a clean sheet, if we're being completely honest. So, like, Dan Cooper, what's going on, mate? I really appreciate you popping in. Bithole says defender and mid. Like, for me, I'd probably scrap this super rare and, like, I'd probably go, if I was you, I'd go really, really strong and all-star rare. And by really strong, I mean, like, you know, keeping your Joachim Andersons, keeping your David Raums, like keeping those sort of guys. I would have an all-star rare lineup going out that's like, not as good as it gets, but like a very good 5. And then I'd have a really good Cap 240 lineup going out every week where like I'm super confident that we're going to hit the rewards. They have one of the best defenses this year. Brest have one of the best defenses this year. You've got to be kidding me, no? Is that what we're saying? Bejos, please tell me you're not saying the Brest have one of the best defenses this year. Like, how are we defining that? Okay, three clean sheets. Sorry, I've seen Rennes, Nice, and Toulouse. Rennes, Nice, and Lyon. Like, I'm not saying that's a really bad ratio. Like, 3 clean sheets in what? How many games? 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. They did have. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Like, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, how good does Kenny Lala actually score? I realize we're gonna take a lot longer on these things. So, like, you know, yeah, okay, he's been able to hit peaks. Like, he's not a bad card at all, but like, he's not consistent. Neither are Brest. So, like, in my eyes, I'm looking at that and going, you know, I'm not saying it's easy to sell all these cards and stuff. This is all hypothetical, right? But like, I'd be looking to go really strong and all-star rare, Griffo, Joachim Anderson, whoever else, David Raum, whoever. Like, you know, good cards that can score you 80 points on a game week quite, not comfortably, but you know, you get what I'm saying, right? A good forward. I think you are lacking a really good forward in that sense. Kramaric is decent. Sulla scored goals as well, but like, they're not, you know, you could get better, I think, if you were to, like, you know, sell those limiteds, like we said. Maybe even sell 1 goalkeeper, potentially. I like the fact you have 3, like, but then I also think, yeah, okay, maybe not sell if you're selling the limiteds, you probably don't need to sell, you know, the 3rd goalkeeper in that sense. But then you could also argue, well, you know, what's his name? The Brest, like, you could just sell the Brest boys effectively, couldn't you? And kind of go that way and then keep, you know, whoever, Berisha and Baumann. Like, they're not unbelievable cards, but one of them's going to have a decent matchup probably every week. That goes into All-Star Rare. The other one then goes into Cap 240, and you just kind of just rotate them in that way. Bernardo says, is buying Legends a good move? I don't think so, Bernardo. I really don't think it is a good move. I don't even know what Legends can do anymore, to be honest, as far as utility. So, yeah, that's basically what I would say to you, BitHorse, is condense those limiteds. I'd condense those rares as well, if I'm being completely honest. Like I said, keep the main boys in there. We'll just go through them once more, just because I just want to make myself as clear as sort of possible. Like, we're keeping Anderson, we're keeping Raum, we're keeping Griffo, we're keeping guys who can score massive. I'd probably keep Kramaric. Like I said, with the goalie situation, I'd probably try and sell the super rares. I know everyone wants to play super rare and stuff. I get it, but like, you know, don't sort of try and run before you can crawl in that sense. It's basically what I would try and look into. Keep your players who are like going to come back and be very good, like your Chao Henrique. And kind of take it from there is basically what I would do. Like, how many rare cards do you need? You need to put 5 out in All-Star Rare, and you need Cap 240, 5 cards. Obviously, you want depth. So, like, you probably don't need more than 15 rare cards, if I'm being honest. You could probably just about half this. Now, I don't know how much that would actually, you know, generate in revenue, because you're keeping the better cards, obviously. So, like, I'm not saying you're going to be able to go out there and buy, like, everyone, you know. But do you get what I'm saying? The money coming from limiteds, the money coming from the sort of rare cards that you could do without. I know depth is good and whatever, but, you know, if we want a really good All-Star Rare team, and then we want, you know, really, you know, a really good Cap 240 team that is churning, you know, Cap 240 thresholds for you most weeks, and then that you know, pushes your All-Star Rare lineup on every week. Okay, it's not as fun. You've got less lineups going out. I get it, but it depends what you want to do, isn't it? It's as simple as that. Like, it depends why you're on here. Obviously, you've been a very good threshold player. I'm not, like, disputing that. Like, I can't, you know, you're clearly very good at that, 100%. So, yeah, kudos to you. But that would be my sort of, my sort of words to you. Right, Mohammed is up next. I don't know if you're lurking in the shadows, as you usually are, and I know you're going to laugh at that if you are in here. But we've got your gallery up here. And short-term, Mohammed's goal is to acquire and to get a first place in any competition, just to scratch that itch. I love that. I was close once. I got a podium, got second place. Medium term, he wants to transition to rare cards. I focus literally on every limited comp. That's why I have 1 or 2 of every mid to top table team collection, which I think is good. I mainly try and prioritize All-Star and Champ America, but it's finished now. Okay. Almost every game week, I have the depth to get the first place and win, but I get multiple 90s and 100s each game week from multiple cards, but I don't seem to get them in the same lineup. I feel like I'm missing something, or am I doing something wrong? Instead of getting one tier 1 to tier 0, I get multiple tier 5s, etc. I mean, look, Mohammed, if you are in, he is in. Love it, Mohammed. Love that, mate. Look, I can definitely tell that you've got some really cool collections, as far as, like, you've got, you know, upper echelon cards in a lot of sort of different, not scarcities, but, you know, different divisions in that sense, different leagues. And that is, you know, on paper, realistically, the way to go, 100%. Now, at Limited, unfortunately, because you're competing against so many players, it's just fucking hard to win. Even if you do get 100 in a lineup and 80 in a lineup, but if that one card just scores 50 and someone else, because there's fucking 10,000 of you in the same competition, has scored 70, well, then he's just going to get first and you're going to get second, right? Like, the margins are so much finer in Limited. Now, that's not to say you can't win, obviously, but your chances of winning, and I mean, like, getting that first place, scratching that itch, is a lot harder to do. It's as simple as that. Like, it just is very hard. The probability of it happening is just very, very low, because there's so many of you, you know, there's so many people playing it. And, you know, that's why, you know, I'll always stick by, like, I don't think Limited is there for return on investment. I think Limited's there for a lot of fun, and it's there to learn the game. That's my personal perspective on it. It's easy for me to say that. I've been around for ages. I've been around before Limiteds even existed on Sorare, okay? So, you know, at one point, Limiteds were going for crazy money, like crazy money. And in a way, I think they should be cheap. I think they should be not every card, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it should be the introductory sort of, you know, scarcity. And once you're done with that, then you can, you know, gradually move up. And obviously, Mohammed, you said you do have, Daniel says, I like it being harder. It's fun to compete against others. 100%. But, like, you know, what are you here for, Daniel? Like, if you're here just for fun and just for competition, fine. But a lot of people are here to win. I'm not digging at you here. I'm just on about, like, in Mohammed's case, for example, like, he wants to finish first. Well, his chances of finishing first is obviously a lot lower. Well, it's obviously going to, depend on budgets here, isn't it? But like, the chances of Mohamed finishing first in a limited competition compared to me in a rare competition, I know we have different galleries, obviously. The chances of me finishing first is a lot higher, obviously, right? But I'm competing against less people. I know it costs to do that, of course. I completely get it. But what I'm getting at is, like, I think before, like, I'm not saying you're never going to finish first, Mohamed, because you do have players that could definitely yield you that. Like, I'm not saying you don't. Like, you definitely have those players in here. Di Lorenzo, Sven Meinand, I know he's injured, but like Classy, Sugawara, you've got the main boys. Paqueta. Obviously, we've only scratched the surface here. Ward-Prowse, obviously, the West Ham collection. More of the AZ collection down here. We've got St. Pauli collection, I think that is, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's St. Pauli. So, like, you're doing the right thing in that sense. Like, you've got the right collections. Now, I know it's not easy getting the best 5 together. That's the hardest thing to do in Sorare is lineup building. And there's obviously skill to it, but there's also a lot of luck at the end of the day. These players have to go out there and do the business for you, right? It's as simple as that. And even got the Real Madrid collection. Like, this weekend, Mohamed, like, Real Madrid play Granada. On paper, that is your best chance all season of getting a podium or becoming first. Obviously, there is going to be other people having Real Madrid collections, obviously, but I think you have 5% on yours. Is that correct? Let's have a look. Collections, you might have 4%. I don't really know. Yeah, you got 4%. So, like, the only way someone beats you this weekend, let's say Real Madrid win 5-0 this weekend, Mohamed. I know we did. Let's see what you did. Excuse me, with your lineups after, because I know we like mixed them up a little bit, didn't we? As far as like, so that's second division. Where's the Real Madrid boys too? Brahim. So you put Rodrigo in under 23 limited. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, you kept all. So like, this lineup here. It's a good lineup. I can't imagine Joselu is the best, like one of the better scoring forwards in All-Star Limited this weekend. Like, I know you've obviously wanted to play under 23, but like, I can't see how Rodrigo doesn't score better than Joselu this weekend, if I'm being honest. So like, already I can see how this lineup could be improved, realistically, right? So then that comes then down to, in my head, your lineup building sort of just strategy in that sense, in this specific scenario. I hope you shut me up and I hope Joselu scores 100 for you, genuinely. But like, I can't see how Rodrigo doesn't outscore Joselu. There's going to be other forwards, obviously, that outscore Joselu as well, I assume. So, like, what's schedule about? Yeah, yeah. Okay, I get your point, Mohamed, I do. But, like, everything indicated that Rodrigo was going to play this weekend, if I'm being honest, from what I gathered as a Rodrigo holder. So, like, that one's on you in that sense. You've been too conservative there, I think. Like, just being brutally honest with you as, like, a friend. And I think Rodrigo should have played in there 100% because that would have given this lineup the best chance possible to get that podium, in my opinion, just with the fixture they've got. So, like, you're doing the right things. I'd probably argue that, like, it's super fun playing this many competitions, and I can't keep, like, I've got to reiterate to you guys, this game has to be fun for you. But like I said, where are you on the scale? Is it just all fun and you're not winning anything? I don't know how that can be that fun, though, because, like, you've got to win some things, which you obviously do, Mohamed. But, like, I think there needs to be a realization where, like, you do need to win things now and again. Simple as, like, otherwise, what's the point spending, unless you're just happy to just for entertainment purposes, then I kind of get it. To be fair, Mohamed, your gaming yield's pretty good. 165 quid on a £2,000 gallery isn't bad at all, is it? It's like 15%. Mohamed said, I think second guessing myself is a major problem I have. 100%, mate. I've been there. Genuinely, like, you don't understand the amount of times I second guess myself. I still do it to this day. It's something that, like, you can't really eradicate. You can definitely get better at it, and you can definitely become more sort of stern and maybe, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, stern in your decision making in that sense. And you just got to be disciplined sometimes. And you do have to take risks, calculated risks sometimes. And that's, I'd say, more your problem than anything. You have the guys to go out there and win things. You really do, mate. Like, you just do. You definitely do. But it's obviously bringing that all together. Daniel makes a good point. I feel like collections are great, but I'm not big on running 5-man stacks. It's hard for 5 guys with the same team to get decisives. Needed for the top 5 finish. I get that. I completely get that. 100% Daniel. And my pushback to that is, Mohammed, if you want to tell Daniel, what did I do for you yesterday as far as build your lineups? I built you a 4-man Real Madrid stack with Ward-Prowse, didn't I, as your best lineup? That was what I built you. Because having that thinking in mind like Daniel's got there, I don't love 5-man stacks personally. That's why I split up your Real Madrid stack. That's why I split up your West Ham stack. So I'm not saying, look at me, I'm fucking Messiah. Again, I'm not. But like that was I'm just telling you that was my thinking in why I did that for you and why I thought that was the optimal play this weekend for you. West Ham have a good fixture. Real Madrid have a good fixture. I played Rodrigo, Ward-Prowse, Cruz, Alaba and Lunin. That you know what I played for you. Obviously, you saw it. So like that's just basically what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, you probably do need to get a bit better at lineup building. Louis says, I also think a 2K gallery shouldn't be all limited. And Lewis has a fair point. Lewis, I completely kind of agree with you there. Like, obviously, we said with Rizzle, like, you could probably get away with, like, half in this and going £1,000 in rare is basically what I would say. Yeah, it's less fun, but you're gonna just win. You're gonna win Cap 240 thresholds now and again if you have £1,000 to put into it. Simple as. So I would maybe consider, somehow half in. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be half. Maybe £700 worth of that £2,000 gallery going up, and trying to turn that into a rare gallery for Cap 240 would be my next progression for you, Mohammed, 100%. Who to get rid of collections-wise, I do not know. Like, that we could be there all day going into that. You would have to kind of make that decision, I'd say. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. You probably need to get better at your second-guessing yourself, which and that's great. It's all about self-reflection. And then secondly, if you want to move up to rare sort of eventually, I think sort of somehow dying down on the rare limited collection. It's at 2K now. Can we see that at like 1.2K maybe and have £700 to go attack Cap 240 threshold? So that is what I would say for you, Mohammed. So I hope that helps. And next up, we've got Catnip. Catnip, what's going on, mate? 777. Don't know if you're in here, but hopefully you are. If you're not, that's fine. I'm just going to read the chat a little bit here. So what we got, Daniel says, yeah, I like that. Or a 2 to 3 split across 2 collections. Have great games. 100% Dan. I'm all for that as well. Loads of ways to do it. Bernardo says, Harry, I have €50 to put into the game to win the best I can. Can you give me a little help at the start? Do you mean, by little help, do you mean like advice? Like, with 50 quid, you're not going to win much. I'm just being completely honest with you. 50 quid, if you're going to come and play this game, is that you're going to win more from just understanding the game with 50 quid. I think that is actually a beauty in itself. A lot of people like me, I've made very, very expensive mistakes in the sense of like, it probably took me, I probably went through a couple grand before I really understood this game. If you can do that on 50 quid, and by understanding the game, I mean buying a couple cards, competing in a few lineups, understanding how players score, etc., etc. Like, it's going to be very hard for you to win with £50, mate, and that's just being completely honest. £50 is there for you to go and learn this game inside out before then going, okay, now I have £150. Maybe that £150 can be better spent, and I know what to do with that £150 a bit more than I do with my first 50. Go make a couple of mistakes with that 50 quid. Buy a £3 card and it turns into a £2 card or whatever it is. Like, you're going to have to just trial and error with that 50 quid. What competition to start playing with? I'd play Cap 240 Limited, to be honest, mate. That would be my introductory sort of like division, as far as like you can win the $5 threshold if you hit 280 points. You need, a goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, and an extra card. And yeah, you could just about make a team with 50 quid, I think, quite not comfortably, but you definitely could. And yeah, that kind of, it is what it is. I'm just, again, catching up on the chat. Sorry, lads. Lewis says, I have a £300 gallery with all limiteds already, thinking to have some players for 240. I know I would have to get a bit lucky to get threshold, but when I get it would be a big ROI. Yeah, I mean, a £300 gallery would be pushing it, I think. Like, you're at the very lower end there. If you want, like, doing Cap 240 rare with 300 quid, I don't think is doable personally, if I'm being honest. Alex says, try to do Cap 240 and then get some thresholds with the 50 quid. 100%, Alex. It's great advice. I appreciate that. Didi, when you first start, you are bound to make errors in judgment in terms of who to buy, how you build lineups, etc. But that experience is vital to then getting better. 100%, Didi. Florin, you can't play All-Star Rare and Cap 240 and win consistently with 15 to 20 players. You need 20 to 25. I mean, Florin, You can. I'm sorry. You just could. If you had 10 to 15 good players, you could win consistently in either. I'm not saying you're going to win a reward in All-Star Rare and 240 every week, but I'm telling you, you would be getting close every week to All-Star. Like, I don't know whether it's tier 4, whatever you're going to win, but like I think 20 is probably, 15 to 20 is probably optimal, if we're being honest. 10 might be a bit too conservative. Fair enough. 15 to 20, I'll agree with. We'll meet in the middle there. But yeah, well, this chat's flying. All the boys are helping out the 50 quid guy. I really appreciate that. Quinny, what's going on, mate? Thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate that. Appreciate it. Sorry, we're just doing some gallery reviews, which has taken me, it's taken me a lot longer than I thought, but I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm right into it. So Catnip next. Catnip's goals is, I want to move up to rare competitions and win on limited competitions. Right now he enters under 23, All-Star and Cap 240. I want some feedback on how I can improve my current account. So let's have a little look. So that's three rewards won. Okay. So we've got an £800 gallery here for the drive home. Love that, mate. So we've got an £800 gallery. I'm guessing it's all limited from what how do we see this? It is, I don't even know how we would even see if he has. Okay, so he has one rare card, Ryan Giles. Good player, by the way. I like Ryan Giles. So basically an all limited gallery with Ryan Giles in there. So we've got some Arsenal boys. Got a lot of Luton lads. Okay. Fun. Big Thomas Kaminsky. We've got Trubin, Declan Rice, Jimenez. Some good under 23 players. Teke Kubo, Jordan Teze, Tolkien, Saka. Right, so Mohammed says, thank you, Harry. Your advice really helped me to think how to play this game. Really appreciate it, brother. No worries at all, Mohammed. Genuinely, it means just being able to sort of communicate with you and hopefully it gets through in that sense and you can kind of take on board. I know, I can tell you're a clever lad. So yeah, 100%, mate. I really hope it works out. And obviously, we'll obviously get together next month as well. And have another little gallery review. But in the meantime, I hope you make some good improvements. And obviously we'll do some lineup building next week with your gallery. Lewis says right side of his gallery. Sorry, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Sorry, yeah, right by here. I was being blind. Cheers, Lou. I appreciate that. DD says, Quinny's wanting you to review his gallery. Harry, he's just nervous to ask. That's class. I review Quinny's gallery every deadline stream, and he knows that. Well, not his gallery, but his lineups at least. But yeah, I mean, look, Catnip, obviously, if you're not watching right now, that's fine. But I'm just going to be talking to you as if you are. Like, obviously, we've got a Luton collection here, so I assume you're a Luton fan, and that that's great to have. You said you want to win at limited, and you obviously want to transition to rare. Well, if you want to do both of those things, unfortunately, you're going to have to just put more money into this game, I think. Well, it's obvious, right? I also then think, like, look, moving up to rare from limited doesn't have to necessarily go into Cap 240 rare straight away from limited. It doesn't. But that's the only worthwhile jump, I think, in my opinion. It might be a bit more costly. It might take a bit more time. But I think that is the competition you need to be striving to play as the beginner tournament. You could play Cap 220, but let's be honest, lads. The rewards there aren't great. And when I say that, I mean Cap 220 rare. So, like, the rewards ain't great there, lads. It's just obvious. 240 limited is 240 rare is where you need to be playing if you want to move up. I know it's not accessible for everyone, but that should be the goal. Like, that should be, if you're at limited now, the goal, if you want to move to rare, should be that jump to 240. I don't think you should do 220 personally if we're talking ROI, in my opinion. Bernardo says, thank you for all your help. My Sorare name is bvista if you want to add me in your account. Bernardo, I really appreciate you popping into the stream, mate. And I hope everyone gives him a little follow on his account and keeps tabs on you, Bernardo. Obviously, you're more than welcome to join streams in the future, and hopefully, you can become a good friend of ours. But special appreciation to you, Harry. No worries at all, Bernardo. I hope you have a great Friday night. Back to Catnip. Like, look, I don't think you're going to be able to have your cake and eat it, if I'm being honest. I don't think you're going to be able to win at rare win at limited per se, and go up to rare, unless you're going to put money into this game, or more money in that sense. That's just how I'm looking at it. So we've got no gaming yield, and we've got £5 in rewards. Now, like I mentioned earlier, an £800 gallery coming into this game right now at rare level could compete for the cap 240 threshold most weeks. Fact. Absolute fact. £300 rare goalkeeper, maximum you need to spend. And then you're looking at, X amount for the outfielders. You could easily do it with 800 quid. So, catnip comes down to what you want to do. I know you're going to probably say you're a Luton fan and you love the collections, and I get that, and I wouldn't sort of talk you out of not having a Luton collection. I can't imagine that costs like that much money in that sense. So that's something that I'd stick with. I'd probably play cap 240 with it and hope it sort of, somehow, yields you some thresholds now and again. Your under 23 limited gallery is actually really good. I'll be honest. Like, you've got some really good cards. Declan Rice, Martinelli, Jimenez, Teke Kubo, Jordan Teze, Saka. You've got the upper echelon of under 23 cards. Fact. But how... You're obviously going to win rewards now and again with them. When they pop off, they will, as long as all the stars align in that sense. But the ROI is still going to be better at cap 240 rare. So in a weird way, I would almost say, in my opinion, it's tough to say, but like, I would go sell the under 23 limited boys, like the upper echelon of cards you have, even though they're very, very good cards. Salibas, blah, 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 all those boys. I'd keep your Luton collection because I assume you're a Luton fan, let's just say. And then I would use that money that you have in under 23 limited, or like had in under 23 limited, let's say it's a couple £100. I would probably, if you are able to, I'm not saying you can, but let's just assume you can afford to put in a couple £100 as well. I would combine those two, and I would try and start hitting the cap 240 threshold, because that's where you're going to be able to win those, obviously the threshold that's going to help you if you want to then move back down to limited and buy some more limited cards and build out that way. Like, Sorare always talks about progression in that sense, going from limited to rare, rare to super rare, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, if you're at cap 240 if you're at cap 240 rare and you're winning decently consistent thresholds, 50 quids or $50, $50, well, then you can start buying down then. You could just go and buy more limiteds with the money that you're making from the threshold. You don't have to put more money in as far as your own money in that sense. That would be my advice to you, Catnip. It would, to sort of half your limited collection, maybe add in a couple of £100 if you can afford to incrementally, and kick it on and just kick it off that way. That would be how I would have to play it. Having the under 23 boys that you have at limited is fun. I really do think it is. Like, you have some really good cards and it is fun to do that. But, clearly we haven't won many cards so far. We've won 2 cards from under 23, 2 tier 5s. So, like, that would be my advice personally. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm not saying, if it's not reasonable for you to sort of deposit, then it is what it is. Maybe just use the money that you have from the under 23 limited cards and put that into a rare goalkeeper, just so it starts you off. And then over the next couple of weeks, maybe buy a card, a £10, £20 outfielder, £30 outfielder, whatever it is. Build it up to where you have enough cards to play cap 240. That's it for me. That's how I would look at it. Lewis says, I think he can go to cap 240 rare, selling his under 23 limited. Love that, Lou. That is what I think as well. Okay, Die Rich next up, my good friend. Good friend Die Rich 05. Current goal of David's is to win enough thresholds to buy expensive Liverpool cards for my 2022-2023 limited collection. So let's have a look at his collection. He has 28 rare cards, 249 limiteds. So this is it. So he's got 3% right now. I don't know why this glitches out on us, lads, but it doesn't like to show us all the cards, does it? So he's missing Alisson, Van Dijk, Trent, Salah, Luis Diaz, blah, blah, blah. Okay, makes sense. And he also wants to build on his rare gallery. He plays cap 220. He plays rare cap 220 and cap 240. He plays limited all-star on all the cap modes and Prem specialist. He enjoys playing limiteds, but is there any, or sorry, the way he's worded this is confusing me a minute. But is there any £15 plus valued cards I should consider selling to free up funds to facilitate my goals? I enjoy playing limiteds. So how do we go back. Callum says, do you think it's not worth really staying in limited for long term? It depends on your budget, mate, at the end of the day. Like, if you're only ever going to come into this game with £100, like, you're just going to stay in limited. It's as simple as that, if I'm being completely honest with you. Unless you're able to invest more money, and we're talking like a couple £100, which then pushes you into that cap 240 rare threshold, into the rare category, then obviously, if you're only willing to invest 50 to 100 quid, you just have to expect to play limited. It's as simple as that. Tangleberry just became a unique member. Tangleberry, I massively appreciate that, mate. Genuinely. And yeah, you are obviously eligible for the big perk of the gallery review, which is fun. Appreciate it. Parrot Press is in the building as well. Mortadace has just joined. Trubin is like 175 quid. Lewis says, Harry is a menace tonight. Can't wait for him to rip my gallery apart. To be fair, I'm not ripping galleries apart. I know you're only messing around. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Honestly, Tangleberry genuinely means a lot to me. Becoming a member. Obviously, get you integrated into the Discord. And obviously, yeah, weekly lineup builds for yourself. And yeah, and obviously gallery reviews. Motoday says, how long is the queue for this? Honestly, Motoday is actually not that long. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 more to do in the Discord. I've got 2 to do in the chat, so 10. Motodays, did you put yours, like, Motodays, are you in the Discord, if that makes sense? Like, did you submit your like, yeah, are you in there is basically my first question. Yeah. Johnny says, Harry, mate, have you heard of Fanzone? I won Germany tickets to the women's game, a handball team signed shirt, and a German under-21 international football shirt. But unfortunately, they sent me an email TBC. I don't know what's going on there, mate, to be fair. I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, but Motodays, the queue's not that big, if I'm being honest. It's like 10 people, basically. I haven't joined yet. No worries. You don't have to join Motodays. 100%. There's no need to join in that sense. But I do, keep everyone up to date in there when I'm going live and everything. But yeah, Motodays, I guess you're 11th in that sense. It is what it is. I'm sorry. But we've just got another member as well. ILT. First time I've seen you in the chat. What's going on, mate? Thank you for becoming a member. Genuinely means a lot to me. Obviously, we will be reviewing your gallery tonight if you want that done. I assume you do. And obviously, yeah, lineup builds every week for yourself for becoming a member. So that's great. To be continued, Johnny says. David says, can you link the Discord? The Discord, David, is only for members of the channel. It's one of the perks. One of the 4 perks that I offer as part of the channel membership. So, yeah, unfortunately, I can't just put it out there to anyone. It is a private Discord to my members in that sense. So, yeah, Motoday says, yeah, you got a link. Yeah, the link is, Motodays, if you go into, like, the subscriptions, like, obviously you're a member. If you go into, like, the channel membership, there should be a drop-down where it says, like, Discord. There should be a link in there. If there's not, I'll send it to you on Discord, Motodays. I know that sounds stupid, but I'll send you the link on Discord, as just a message in that sense. We'll get all that sorted, but you don't need to be in the Discord for now. We can definitely do your gallery review, after that. But yeah, Jonathan's right. The link is in the membership community tab on the YouTube, Motodays says. Yeah, Jonathan says. Sorry, lads, I'm talking so fast, I'm fucking muddling up my own words. So yeah, sorry for that. But anyway, back to Die Rich's gallery. I know we just had a couple of new members join, so I got a bit derailed, but I appreciate, honestly, you guys joining. It really does mean a lot to me. And yeah, ILT, welcome on board, mate. I really appreciate you joining. I really, really do. Okay, back to Die Rich. So he plays rare, 240 and stuff already. Let's have a look at the quality of cards he has at rare. So let's go scarcity, rare. So we've got David Marshall, who is a playing goalkeeper, to be fair. Isaac Davis, Nico Williams. Die Rich, if you couldn't tell, well, you can't really tell from here, but he is a big Welsh fan. So Slattery, McGinn, Shinnie, Thomas Muller, very nice card. Willian, also a very cool card. Saul, Hermaso, Dan Byrne, Danny Ward, another Nico Williams, Aaron Ramsey. We've got Mepham, Ben Davis, Harry Wilson, Kiefer Moore. So obviously a big Welsh collection there, which is fun for the international breaks. Well, not fun, but at least you have a team, isn't it, Dave? But yeah, as far as like your goal is to win thresholds, and as it should be. Like you do have good enough players here to probably win thresholds at a decent amount. You've got a decent gaming yield there, to be honest. £300 gaming yield is not bad for an under £2. Oh, it's very good. Way more than 10%. Nearly 30% to be fair. So like, you definitely got to take that 100%. Yuri Tillemans there as a nice little win. A lot of tier 5s, tier 4s, tier 5s, tier 5. I'm just seeing tier 2 Guzman, not bad. Tier 1 Daniel Bachmann, that's good. Tier 2s. Okay. Even what a rare in kickoff. Interesting. Fair play. So yeah, I mean, how do we, lads? I'm a bit of a noob here. Sorry, this chat's going crazy. It's hard to keep up with this chat. I can't lie. Alex Coombs helping out ILT. Thanks, Al. Motodace has joined the Discord. That's great. Love that. Jonathan says he'll go to Saudi Pit Horse. He was linked in the summer. Oh, you're on about Willian, aren't you? Yeah, mate. I don't know. Yeah, Willian's an interesting one, obviously, with his sort of career in that sense. As far as how do we do this? Yeah, floor high to low. So he wanted us to have a look at, does he have any cards that are valued at, like, say, 15 quid that he should consider selling to facilitate his goals? So I think, obviously, you want to buy expensive Liverpool cards. But for me, I would be looking to win thresholds to use then that money to buy the Liverpool cards. I don't want to be putting in my own money to buy the Liverpool cards. I'd want to be buying rare cards, maybe with my own money, to win thresholds to then put into those limited cards that you want to buy. So like, we're just looking at floor prices here. DeMarco's at that much. Jesus, that's incredible, by the way. Like, for me, I know it's fun to play limiteds and whatever, but like, it probably comes a time, David, where like, you probably have to get rid of certain cards like this, in my opinion. Like £30 DeMarcos and, your Churkies maybe. Like, yeah, they're fun to have, but like, you could really build up a decent balance here to start buying some decent rare cards. I'm not saying you don't have decent ones already, but just more, in the sense it just gives you that best chance every week to smash that threshold. So that would be like my first point is, can you start trimming down on a couple of these rare cards? Berghaus, like, you've got good cards. I can't lie, you do. And I know that's going to weaken your limited winning capabilities. But ultimately, if you're able to hit that rare threshold every other week, let's say, it's a fucking good ratio, isn't it? Like, that as an ROI is way higher than it's going to be winning tier 3s, tier 4 limited cards with the cards you have. Because you do have some good limited cards. You just do. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying go out and sell every one of your limiteds. But what I am saying is, let's see what the ratio is here as far as limited to rare. I reckon it's like 70-30. Oh, okay, so 1.1k worth of limiteds and then 700. Okay, so it's a bit, yeah, it's probably more 60-40 then, isn't it? I'd probably try and make that more 50-50, if I'm being honest. I would cut down maybe £200 worth of limited cards. Like we mentioned a couple of them, Turkey, blah, 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 blah. And I would start going in and buying a couple more rare cards that you can just depend on for that threshold. I'm not saying you don't have them here, but there's not an abundance of them, if we're being completely honest. That would be what I'd be doing, mate. I'd be buying some decent cards, decent European cards to finish off this season. I know we're only a third in, but that would be where I'd be starting. I'd be getting rid of some of those rares. Sorry, those limiteds, my bad. Your DeMarcos, McGinn's maybe, now you could cash in maybe now when the Premier League's hot. Turkey maybe. A couple of these cards, before you've got a £200 balance, and then you're out there then, you're able to buy a couple of good, like, when I say a couple, I mean like 4 or 5 decent rare cards, couldn't you, for around 40 to 50 quid each? Is basically how I'm sort of seeing that. Drea's just scored for Anderlecht, by the way, lads, if anyone has Drea. I'm pretty sure Jonathan does. So yeah, just sort of keeping you up to date on that. But yeah, lads, I appreciate all of you being here, by the way. 43 viewers is absolutely mental. But that would be my advice to you, Di. I hope that does make sense. And next up, we're going to go to Jaquil. Jaquil is up next, and he wants to move up to Cap 240 rare and begin with winning thresholds. Currently, I'm trying to compete in rare, in limited 240, under 23 limited, and Cap 220 rare, and limited long mode, which is, 220. Should I sell my limiteds and buy a rare goalkeeper? Interesting dilemma. Let's have a look. So you've got a couple of rare cards, to be fair. Cazondal, fair play. Ivan Heel, Caceres, Chanot. Some decent players here. Okay. But obviously you don't have the rare goalkeeper. Yeah, this is probably the quickest one all night, to be honest, Jacquiel. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're basically halfway to a threshold team already. You've already got the outfielders, realistically. You could obviously add a bit more quality, obviously. But you're at a stage there where I'd be just shutting up shop at limited, if I'm being honest. You've got some good cards there, but I think it's probably time. If you want to, you just said you want to win threshold. So I'm telling you, the way to do that is to sell your limiteds. I don't know how much that is going to make you as far as what that's going to bring you, but let's just call it, let's just see. You've got £300 worth of limiteds. Let's say you get 250 quid for them. I don't know, but I'm just saying you could buy a rare goalkeeper for that. I know for a fact you can. So that would be my advice to you. I'm not saying that rare collection then is definitely able to win thresholds every week, because I'll be honest, it probably isn't. It'll definitely be in and around it, but like you will have to add more quality to that, 100%. But I do think moving up and selling up those limiteds if you're able to, and moving that into a rare goalkeeper is definitely the way to go there for you, 100%. ILT says if you'll have time to review my gallery, that would be fantastic. 100% ILT will definitely be reviewing your gallery. There is a couple of other members that have joined tonight which will be getting theirs reviewed as well. I think that'll go something like, I'm just having to scroll up because I can't believe how many messages there is, but Gecko2 will be the first one to get his gallery reviewed from the chat, if that makes sense. I'm currently going through my members in the Discord. So after I've done the members in the Discord, I will be going through the chat. Gecko, you will be first on that list. Second on that list will be, where's he? 2? Just scrolling down. Sorry, lads, if this is annoying. Tangled Berry will be in second. ILTU will be then in third. I think Motadace will be in there as well. Sorry, I forgot. You obviously are a member already, but weren't in the Discord, so I will have to remember to do them. But yeah, don't worry. It'll definitely all be done. Jonathan, you are next, my brother. Jonathan. Let's go. Just in time for the Drea goal. Okay, so, Jonathan, I'm almost entering all the limited competitions and now want to enter Rare 220 and 240. I want to have a European Cap 240 team for Rare. Is my gallery ready for a Rare goalkeeper? I'm thinking of getting Silinson, his backup Roof later on. How many players am I missing in Rare to have a good 240 gallery? I have a little watch list I made if you want to give that your opinion too. Another possibility is building a 240 Rare MLS team. I have a balance of €87 on the platform from Thresholds, and I'm willing to invest around €250 from my last investment into the platform for the foreseeable future. So, okay, so you've got a war chest of, let's say, €330. Yeah? You could invest 250, and you've got your balance as well. So, let's just call it €250, whatever. €350. Your gallery's worth let's say 1.5k. Let's just round it up, whatever. And then as far as what you've got in Rare so far, let's just have a look at that. Because I know you've got way more limiteds, which is obvious. But so you've got £139 worth of rare cards. You got defender, midfielder. I'm just looking at sort of position. So a couple of forwards, 2 forwards, 3 forwards. Sorry, we've got 4 or 5 defenders, and then the rest midfielders. So obviously you've done this on a budget so far, which is definitely a way to introduce yourself to it. The highest price card here is obviously Ogawa at 32 quid. Your question on as far as Silicon goes, is he a good introductory keeper? I'd probably argue yes, as far as he's a decent keeper, decent age. He's not stupidly old, he's not stupidly young. 34, he's definitely got a few years left in the tank. His price, by the way, is mental, 170 quid. That's actually nuts. I know his last few games have been poor, but Jesus, that's so low. I can't even believe he's that low. Just having a look at what he's sort of selling for. 160 quid. Boys, man, what is going on? That's fucking mental. Actually mental, isn't it? I'm shocked at that. Genuinely, I thought he'd be a little bit more expensive. So yeah, the question, do you buy a Silicon? Probably. Is he going to win you a threshold every week? I assume not. But he'll definitely keep you in it, from game week to game week, if your outfield players can, outperform their L15s. Now, as far as your gallery goes at limited, I know you've got some really good, players. You really do. I know we haven't answered the question of how many, rare players you're missing. We'll get back onto that. But are you open? I know you haven't said it, but would you be open to like skimming down your limiteds at all? Because I think that would be the easiest way to do this. Germ says, I'd go for the MLS first and snowball those into thresholds into next season. MLS teams that make playoffs have 40 games, including League Cups. Germ, I completely sort of, take on board what you're saying. As far as like, the only pushback I have is like, if you're somebody that like kind of only cares about European football, it's hard to get into the MLS. I love the MLS, you obviously do as well, but like not everyone can get into it. For Jonathan's sake, he obviously has said that he's willing to try that. So I think for Jonathan's sake, I would argue that could definitely be a possibility. It's not going to work for everyone. It's not a blanket statement because not everyone can... It's like saying everyone should have a J-League or like an Asia lineup. It doesn't work like that because it's just so hard to get news, etc., etc. I'm not saying the MLS and J-League are comparable in that sense as far as news goes, but you get my point, right? Every league is not for everyone. But I completely agree with you, Germ. This is the time now to be building the Cap 240 MLS team, 100%. Roster news is coming out. We're seeing who's getting, extended, etc., etc., who's getting taken away from rosters and whatever. So, like, my first sort of thing to you is, Jonathan, you've got £300 odd to add to the collection, and I think that's great. Jonathan said, I don't want to sell any of his limiteds. Okay, that's fair enough. If you don't want to do that, I'm not here to say you have to go and do that to get success then. I hold my hands up. Fair enough. So then, okay, we're going back to, is Cillessen added into this? So let's say Cillessen's worth 170 quid. You've got another 170 quid to get a couple more rare cards. I would say you definitely need, you're going to need quality across the board. I think you're definitely going to need another good defender. Definitely 2 midfielders. Ogawa can obviously be, very useful for you as your forward. I 100% agree with that. But I do think you're missing like 4 or 5 more rare cards, outfielders, specifically in defense and midfield, to add to Cillessen, to add to what you've got here, to call it, a viable Cap 240 effort in that sense. That would be kind of what I would get at there. Fair enough if you don't want to sell your limiteds. I completely get that, mate. Germ says, Cillessen at risk of losing that spot. He is way too cheap and would be a great starting spot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Germ. He does feel a bit too cheap, doesn't he? I'm just looking again, Jonathan. Another possibility is building a Cap 240 rare team. I completely agree with what Germ said, and Jonathan, you obviously mentioned it. Like, I definitely think that is something to look forward to. But if you can get a Cillessen for the price he's at, if you can get 3, 4, 5 good European rare cards that can add to this 240 effort, I think you can genuinely start hitting some good thresholds before this end of the season. I know, like I said, I'm saying that as if the season's ending. It's not. We've got another 6 or 7 months yet until the European season ends. But that is kind of what I'm getting at in that sense. Like, you've definitely, if you've got a £350 war chest, €350 war chest to work with, you get your Cillessen in, you get your outfielders in, rare-wise, and you build from there. That feels like the play to me. Couple of good defenders, couple of good midfielders, and then potentially maybe rolling that into some MLS cards for the summer, rare-wise, potentially. If you're able to win 5, 6, 7, 8 thresholds before the end of the season, all that money can go into MLS threshold cards, and then before you know it, you've got a summer threshold team. It's kind of how I would snowball that, mate. So hopefully that makes sense for you. And yeah, next month we'll definitely have this chat again and see how much closer we are. Hopefully you've got that rare Cillessen, and we can sort of kick on from there. Okay, WL Alex has a mix of limiteds and rares. I'm really thinking of selling off the majority of my limiteds and going stronger in rare. In limited, I enter as many as I can, strongest in All-Star and Champ Europe, and then the cap modes, and then in rare, playing mainly 240, 220, but only have 2 goalkeepers now. So do I put a cap 270 into rare if I have the players? Just if you think it would be worth selling the limiteds and buying more rares. Okay, so this one could be an easy little fix, I think, on paper. Jonathan says, I'll send you you've sent me the watch list. I'll have a look at that now, Jonathan. Sorry, before we... we'll definitely have a look at that now. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted a little bit. Okay, this is the rare watch list that Jonathan's got on his mind. So I'm just looking at some of these players. Tanaka, okay, some Cillessens in there, obviously. The NEC defender, Bram, that could definitely work as a little defensive stack. I like that. Can is definitely a good player. Cohurt's a good threshold player, especially if you can get the forward version. Asano, interesting. He could move to the MLS though, but keep an eye on that. I like Kevin Stroger. Like, you don't even have to go out and spend 70 quid on a Asano. Like 40 quids. These are the players I think you should be sort of definitely targeting. The 30 to 40 pound range, as far as outfielders go, I think could get you by. Obviously, there's going to be cheaper ones as well that go under the radar, but like 10 quid there, like they're the cards that you need to be looking at. Calvin's a decent scorer actually for NEC as well. How long are you going to go beyond for, mate? Until I've done all the gallery reviews, mate. So probably another hour, I assume. Yeah, probably another hour, mate, to be fair. So yeah, Jonathan, definitely a couple of good cards there that I would definitely consider. Going into Alex's gallery then. So what has he got at rare level? Let's have a butcher's at what he's got here. So you've got £800 worth of rare cards, which is half. Okay, decent ratio. Lewis says, look at Tsunomoto. Decent player. Used to play for Antlers, didn't he? In the J-League. So we got David Marshall, Iosi Perez, very interesting player. We got the Hib stack, okay. Danny Parejo, obviously got Ox in there. Interesting. Got some decent players, but like you could probably, Kapue plays now and again. But like if we're being honest, you got like how many cards here that really are going to be used? Lewis Miller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got like 11 cards here, I would say, and 2 of them are goalkeepers. So I definitely think it could be worth selling a couple of these limiteds. I'm guessing you're a Liverpool fan. Al, I'm pretty sure you're a Liverpool fan, aren't you? You've got some good cards here. Now, it's interesting because we've got this winter competition going on. So, excuse me, having some of these 2023 Liverpool cards could be quite useful actually over these next couple of weeks. But I would start suggesting like maybe, getting rid of like maybe your Geordie Classies. A couple of these cards were worth like 8 to 10 quid maybe. Coupling them up to like £100 war chest maybe, and then going out and buying a couple of new rare cards for that Cap 240, because yeah, you've got a decent amount of cards here, but like the goalies are fine. I wouldn't really touch the goalies for now. The Hib stack will definitely do you well in certain matchups, whatever. But like, I'd say you're missing. Joe Newell's a very good player, but his cap could definitely become troublesome. That's the issue as well. Like, once your good players get too good, you've basically got to sell them off with cap 240 limit rare, like in any cap mode. Like, you can't use massive cap players, high L15 players all the time in cap modes. It doesn't work, unfortunately. Like someone like Joe Newell, what is he now? He's at 55, which is quite respectable. But once that gets to like 60, it starts becoming quite hard to kind of fit him in. Dan says he's been pleasantly surprised with Ox since he's gone to Besiktas. Fair enough. So like, I'm not saying you have to go out and get rid of a Joe Newell right now, but like if he gets to the higher 60s, like you have to be looking to move him on, bank your profits and move that into a lower L15 card or cards. That's kind of how it's got to go. There's definitely room to improve here. Like, there's a couple of decent Villarreal players, obviously, the Hibs boys. But, like, there's definitely room to go get another good defender, midfielder and forward, I would say, that can really give you, more options, every week. And then, the leftovers, they probably go into All-Star Rare. They might go into Cap 270, like you said, Alex, in your little message to me. Like, you can't expect it to go out there and do bits all the time. But I do think, there's definitely a chance for you to... Sorry, I'm just looking at my... my Discord. Loads of people have joined, by the way. How many have we got joined? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I don't think we've had 5 new members tonight. We've had like 3, haven't we? Gecko, obviously. I'll have to look through that and see if anyone sneaked in when they might not have, should have done or whatever. But regardless, back to the point. I definitely would start trying to sell off some of those limited cards that maybe you don't use. Maybe even a couple of those limited boys, because it is good to cash in on the 2023 cards right now at Prem, especially in the Prem, because of the amount of money that's on offer with the winter competitions, which I know is fun. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of fun to have in that. So like, don't disregard that. You should definitely play that if you really want to. But there's definitely scope to get a few new players into this lineup, I would say. Just to give yourself the best chance. And then once those players get too good, maybe when Joe Newell gets to like 60, L50 or whatever, 15, then you start moving them on and start recycling. That's kind of how you've got to do it with Cap 240. You can't keep playing the same players, unfortunately. Alex is in the building, though. Al, love that. I didn't realize you were here, Al. Sorry. Any questions, Al, on that? Like anything you want me to be a bit more clear on, let me know before I move on. But yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, obviously, like I said, just ask the question, and hopefully I can answer it. Just looking at my players, Sergi Cardona hasn't started very well for Las Palmas against Getafe, which is not fun. Yeah, so just let me know, Al, and then if everything's good, then we can move on. If not, like I said, we can definitely change things. Cohort with the assist. We just mentioned him being a decent card for you, Jonathan. So yeah, good stuff. And if there isn't anything, Al, that you want talked about, then we will move on. But I will just double check. If there is, we'll stay on. We'll just keep you on the other page, just in case. Okay, next up is Alfred FC. Alfred, I don't know if you're in the chat. I know you do work nights as well, don't you, sometimes? So I assume you've not made it, but that's fine. Okay, so Alfred's gallery is worth nearly 12k, to be fair, which is obviously a hefty gallery. Short term, he wants to win the Premier League comp, or win something in that, or All-Star Rare Plus. Long term, become a whale. Make this great game a source of income. Currently entering All-Star Rare Plus, Champ Rare Plus, sometimes All-Star Rare, Cap 240 Rare, and then the Prem Winter Comp. Do you think it's best for me to push into Cap 240 Super Rare first, or get 2 or 3 very good Super Rares to go with my current quality I have? Any recommendation player-wise? If you had my gallery, what would be the 4 comps I would play? Sorry, I just got a Discord message. Hi, I'm LT. To be honest, just subscribe to you with the wrong email. We'll be resubscribing next month. That should be fine. Speaking of strategy. Okay, so yeah. ILT has obviously sent me his stuff as well. So ILT, I will get back to you as well. But let me just concentrate on Alfred FC, unless Alex has got something. Sorry, Alex has got back to us. Alfred is in here. I love that, mate. Alex says, think I will do a couple more weeks of the Prem Comp. Fair enough. And then sell off a lot of them at a decent price and hopefully win a little bit of cash before doing it. Love that. Completely. I don't mind a lurker either, Al. I know Mohamed's still lurking. Well, maybe Mohamed's still lurking, but I know he loves a lurk from time to time. But no, 100%, mate. You don't have to be too active in the comments. I know you're there, man. I really do appreciate it. And then Alfred, like we said, what is going on here then? So I'm just rereading what we've got going on here. So obviously roster price. Let's have a look at the Super Rares you have first and foremost. So we've got Gabriel Jesus, who's obviously, a very fucking good card. Pedro Porro, very decent card. Gabriel Mangales, decent card. I don't know much about Dario, to be honest, but we'll have a little butchers into him. Okay, so he's injured right now, but before that, seems to be a decent card, to be fair. Mystic, decent card. Bamford, questionable. Christensen, I don't think he's playing, is he? Okay, he's come off the bench for Roma, so yeah, not that usable. So realistically, we've got, Misic, Gabriel, Porro, and Jesus as the 4 here, realistically, isn't it? As far as, a usable cards. First question is obviously, do you think it's best for you to push into Cap 240 Super Rare? It's a tough one. Let me just have a look at your gaming yields. So £500 gaming yield's pretty decent. You've not won a ton of cards, but you haven't been playing that long either, to be honest. So game week 336, you won your first card. You've won some Evan Ferguson's actually a very decent win. Cap 240, 240. So you are winning cards in Cap 240, which is encouraging for sure. Very, very impressed with that. All-Star Rare Pro, you've won 1. A couple of All-Star Rare Tier 3s, which is decent. So yeah, let's just go back to the actual cards we've got. So this is the rare boys. So obviously we've got Harry Kane as the sort of picture boy. He is in work, but priorities. Love that. Love that, Alfred. Write Bamford off. Yeah, we have to write Bamford off, don't we, to be fair. Mohamed's still here as well. Love that, mate. I really do appreciate it. I've got a Sorare notification. It's just, I thought I had a DA, but I don't, unfortunately. Okay, back to this. Sorry, Alfred. So Harry Kane's obviously the picture boy. of the gallery, which makes sense. I think someone like him is obviously a massive card to have. It's obvious best striker on the game right now, which is definitely something to build off. Like having a Harry Kane, he's an all-star rare pro player, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can play him all-star rare, obviously, but he is an all-star rare pro or rare plus, striker. Simple as, just as simple as. Dan Cooper's in work as well. Love that. So like, right now it doesn't feel like realistically going into Cap 240 super rare is the play. I don't think. You've got a decent array of cards. Like you're obviously able to win the threshold and win cards in threshold actually quite often, which is definitely, fun and ideal. You've got some mega cards, if we're being honest, don't you? Harry Kane, Gyökeres, Declan Rice, Sara. Like you've got some really good cards. And then when I go to your super rares, you also have some good super rares. Like they're not like elite, but Jesus could become an elite-ish super rare striker for you. He could. Gabriel, like you know what I'm like with Gabriel. Like I'm not in love with his scoring right now. It's not that good if we're being honest. So like if we're being completely honest, you've got two super rares there that are usable in my opinion. And when I say usable, I mean like, upper echelon super rares. You've got Pedro Porro and Gabriel Jesus. Now, Jesus is a striker, obviously, okay? Like, you've got Harry Kane. In my opinion, like, your best team... Let's just go players with no game week. Like, right now, you're very close to having, like, a very good All-Star Rare Plus team that can, like, definitely compete for cards, right? And it's going to go something like this, isn't it? Raya. It's going to go something like Harry Kane. Oh, why isn't this? I wanted... Here we go. So I'm just giving you your best team on paper without fixtures, Pedro Porro. Mystic is okay, if we're being honest, isn't he? He's not unbelievable, but he's definitely decent. Again, he's okay. Simple as. Definitely got to throw right. Well, you know what? You basically play Sara there. In my opinion, you're missing another good you're missing a very good super rare extra player. For me, that isn't Gabriel. And that definitely isn't Jesus. Just being brutally honest with you. You have a Harry Kane rare card. You don't need a super rare forward in this extra position. It's not optimal, I don't think. In this extra position, you need either a midfielder or a defender that's like averaging, I know it's not, you're not going to get it every game, but like somebody that's capable of 30 AA plus decisive now and again. Simple as. I'm not saying that's easy to get. You'd obviously have to make sacrifices as far as like you might have to sell a couple of rare cards in that sense. You just might. But like this team is very close to being like a very, very good All-Star Rare Plus team. Like, I like Gabriel. Like I'm not totally against him. If his scoring gets a bit better, I like the fact that obviously you've got a defensive stack there. That does make sense to me. And like a part of me thinks that this is almost a play, but right now it's not, I don't think. Like that lineup isn't going to win you rewards right now, to be honest. Like the Gabriel situation. Alpha said it makes sense. I appreciate that. That makes sense for you. And like, you've got the makings with a Sara, with a Kane. You've got like the rare pieces. You've got elite rare pieces in those two players. And if Sara doesn't have a good fixture, you've obviously got Rice. Like, you've got really good midfielders. If he doesn't, then you've got Bruno, who's a step down a little bit, but still very good. Like, you've got the depth at rare mid, I would say. Rare forward, you've also got the depth, I would argue. Gyökeres comes in for Kane. And Buemo's obviously very decent. So it's an interesting one. Like, I assume you're an Arsenal fan and stuff. And, like, it might not be the time to sell a Gabriel Jesus Super Rare right now, but, like, a card like that probably should be sold, in my opinion, and turn it into, like, a really good super rare midfielder or defender. Doesn't have to be Prem, can be European elsewhere. But that's kind of where I'm getting at with that. And, like, yeah, super rare capped is fun, but right now I just don't... You clearly don't have the super rare depth, obviously. State the obvious, Harry. But, like, I think your team is geared to winning rewards in All-Star Rare Plus, which is a very lucrative tournament. It's one of the best... It is the best rare tournament there is, as well as winning the cap, and as well as putting a half-decent All-Star Rare team out there. And when I say half-decent, I mean, like, very good. So like, I think the next goal for you, Alfred, is honestly to go out and buy another really good super rare mid or defender. I don't think we're going to have time tonight to go through who that is exactly. But obviously you can ask me in Discord and stuff. You can, suggest players to me and I'll say, what I think of them, blah, 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 blah. Over the next couple of weeks or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. You've obviously got my contact in that sense. But like, that is the plan, I think it has to be. And then really go out and try and win some nice rewards in All-Star Rare Plus. Because that is a podium, it is a podium dangerous lineup on a given day. It just is. You've got the best midfielder in the game, realistically right now, or one of, and you've got the best forward. You're only a couple pieces away, realistically. Okay, Tottenham aren't going to have the best matchup every time, and Porro might not be the play all the time, so then Gabriel has to come in. But you definitely need at least one like very decent super rare midfielder or defender, I would say, to come into that. So I hope that helps, mate. And then next up, we've got Narit. I always get your name mixed up, Narit, but I am sorry for that as well. So Narit wants to win consistently in Cap 240 Limited during the weekends. Nice goal. Short term wants to win some cards and obviously the thresholds. He competes in Cap 240 Limited and in semi-pro divisions of Premier League, Bundesliga and La Liga. He wants to join other competitions like Under 23 and All-Star Limited, but don't have the budget for that, so I'm playing the semi-pro divisions. Makes sense. What budget do I need to join these competitions? Also, I want to buy some cards of MLS for the MLS Specialist. Also, my Cap 240 midfielder's L15 is increasing. Should I sell him and get another one? And should I sell any other cards? So, obviously, quite a few questions there, which we will get into. First things first is, you've got a £50 gallery, right? Which is, state the obvious. Now, let's see who we've got going on here. So, we've got Isco, very decent player. But what is his L15? I'm sure that must be creeping up. Yeah, 56. Michaelenko. Goalkeeper is this fella, I assume, plays. Let's have a look. He does. Can definitely get clean sheets. Got William. We've got Brandon Williams, who's been injured. Luke McCown's obviously a decent player. Wellington and Daniel, and obviously this Joris Kramer. So, obviously we're dealing with, a very small gallery here. Obviously, again, state the obvious. And this is going to be quite relatable for maybe a couple of you watching that maybe are interested in getting into Sorare. Let me also filter by just rare cards, by the way. Like, this is what we're working with. This is what £50 got him. Simple as. So I'm just catching up on Alpha. Cheers, mate. I'll be planning on the next super rare. I originally planned to just have the Arsenal stack in Champ Rare Plus, but injuries and form stopped that. Yeah, I get that 100%. I also think, like, having an Arsenal stack isn't that optimal. Like, I don't love 5-man stacks personally. I know it's fun for you as maybe an Arsenal fan, and I completely get that, but, optimization over sometimes a bit too much fun is kind of how sometimes you just got to play this game. So yeah, hope that sort of answers that. Sorry, I'm just catching up on some of my players. Rames are 1-0 up. Sergi Cardona isn't playing very well, which is not fun. Sorry, I'm just getting semi-distracted there. But yeah, Nareed. So as far as what you got going on here, like, if you want to be playing other tournaments, i.e. Under 23, like you mentioned, and All-Star Limited, you're going to have to put more money into this game, obviously. You're asking how much? I would have to tell you, a considerable amount. Like, if you want to compete in All-Star Limited, you've seen, if you've been watching the stream, you've seen some of the lineups in Limited that are able to go out there. You're talking a couple of £100. I think for you, realistically, I think it has to be every week working as hard as you can to hit the threshold. Build up those thresholds over time. And at the same time, if your players do get too high of an L15, you have to then sell them on, like you mentioned. So you mentioned to me that your under 23 midfielder, his L15 is creeping up. So yeah, 57 is creeping up. It's not like too high, but it is definitely getting there. Obviously, Isco's the same. You do have to be careful because obviously if it's too high, you can't fit them in. You will have to recycle them, and then you will have to go out and buy, cheaper L15 midfielders. The way I do that, the way I like to do that, as far as like how I scout, cheaper cut or lower L15 cards, I'll go into Sorare data. I will go into player and card finder. In players, I'll just go, let's just call it defenders and mids for now. I will then go into scores, L15. I'll then bring it down to like, let's just call it 50. I'll just call it 50. Number of games started, I'll obviously want a high percentage of that. Let's just call it 80%. And then we can go filter, and we're sort of filtering by, highest L5 as well. So these are the players that, are playing quite well recently, if that makes sense. And then their L5, has a bit of room to kind of catch up. And I'd be looking at players like this, Maxime, for example, if he has a good fixture, 50 L15, but his L5 is 64, so he's obviously outperforming. He's playing better in the last 5 than he is the last 15. It's kind of how I would 100% do that. And Ben says he's still live and he's still reviewing. Mate, I'm going all night. I'm doing an all-nighter. And Ben. Alpha says, yeah, and I realise the stack isn't best for ROI. I appreciate you realising that, mate, 100%. Daniel says, my only 5-man stack is the Coventry boys, but they're always in Div 2 anyway. It's fun for a full stack for the team you support. 100% agree, Daniel. There's definitely merit in that, but I don't think it can be your like main thing going out every week if you're looking to make ROI. It's as simple as that for me. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy on, finding lower L15 players if you are having to swap out other ones, Narit. Just looking through some of your other questions. He wants to buy some MLS cards. That's definitely a strategy. I think you should be looking into doing so. For the specialist that'll be, coming out in February whenever the MLS starts. We'll definitely do an MLS sort of scout. Well, I've done an MLS scouting stream, so you could definitely look into that. But I would try, first and foremost, bread and butter for you, Narit, has to be securing the threshold every week or most weeks. Building that up. And then building that into MLS cards that then you can go play in specialist. But I think for you, Narit, I think All-Star Rare, All-Star Limited and Under 23 Limited is a long way away right now. And that's fine. This game is a progressional thing. You have to take it step by step. But that would be my advice for you, mate. So I hope that makes sense. And as far as should you sell any other cards? Well, yeah, Isco is near, and I would basically go out and sell an Isco. I don't think your Cap 250 team, Cap 240 team needs an Isco in it, really. I think you could definitely sell him for a good chunk of money, according to what he's priced at here on Sorare data. Other than him, I probably wouldn't be selling anyone else realistically right now, and it's just a case of, trying your best to hit that threshold every week. And yeah, that's kind of how that should work. Moza 19 is up next. We've got 1, 2... We've only got a couple left in the Discord, to be honest, lads. So we're near enough the end of things. We've got probably 6 left overall, I would say. How to win MLS by Nuhu. Bask in his glory. What a player, by the way. Okay, what is Moza looking for then? So Moza says, no goals as such, other than to win under 23 and enjoy the game and scout talent, so watch them bang. You know what, Moza? I can't argue with that because that's obviously been, one of my bigger sort of goals and aspirations or whatever, or strategies, I guess, on Sorare. So I definitely can relate to that. He plays limited all I can and then rare 240. How do I win? But seriously, I guess maybe just some advice where to go next. Do I keep investing in limited under 23 or do I pick up some rare under 23 that haven't broken through yet? That I think might. Okay, so let's just have a look at what we got cooking here. So as far as rares go, we've got a 2.2k gallery. Here are the boys we've got. So we've got Big Rambo, love that. Siopis, Sergi Sampa, Phil Billing. We've got Ollie Watkins, very good card. Wow. Eric Garcia, Leo Roman. So it feels like to me that there's a few cards here that are a bit lopsided in that sense. You don't need an Ollie Watkins, I don't think. I think you should be selling that Ollie Watkins personally. He's an outlier in this gallery, isn't he? You look, the next most expensive outfielder is Eric Garcia. You don't need an L15 of 57 Ollie Watkins, I don't think, as your Cap 240 striker. I would be cashing in on him personally. I would then be reinvesting that in, X amount of players, 5, 6 players, whatever it is. A couple maybe under 23 rare cards that you think might break through at some point, longer term investments, and then some cards that can start winning new thresholds or continue winning new thresholds now. Obviously you definitely have to buy a couple of forwards because getting rid of Watkins would mean that you would be forwardless as far as I'm seeing here. So that would be what I would do with that Watkins money. As far as limited, did you say anything of how is limited to go? Let's have a look. Should you keep invested in limited under 23? Let's have a look. Sorare football. You've got Saka, Trubin, Rodrigo, Vinny, Sloboslai, Diaby, Theo Leone. As far as what I'm seeing here, mate, I'll be honest, you've probably got enough quality at limited, definitely in under 23, to where you don't really need to be buying anyone else, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think the ROI is there. You might win a few cards, yeah, but like, you know, you need to be improving that rare contingency. Go out and buy some, you know, rare under 23 boys you think will break through eventually, long term, and then definitely go out and buy some shorter term cap 240 players that can aid you in winning that cap. Like, I think your roster valuation is a bit lopsided. I think your rare valuation needs to be a bit higher than it is right now compared to the limited. Right now, your limited is obviously worth more than the rare. It's kind of how I would go about that, Mozza. So I hope that helps, mate. And then next, lads, I think that gets us into the boys who joined tonight, to be honest. I'm not seeing anyone else involved. So, Gecko, you are up next. Gecko, I appreciate you becoming a member tonight, mate. Honestly, that means the world to me, genuinely. So we've got a £9,400 gallery, fair play. We've got 15 supers, 200 rares, 32 limited cards, 61 prizes won, fair play. That's good going. I can't knock that. Gaming yield $3,000, very, very interesting, fair play. Any big cards that stand out? Let's have a look. Frankie Amaya, what a player. Depay, nice win. You won a Cherky. Wow, that's fair play. That's class. Anthony, you won Santi Rodriguez. What a card. I hope you still have him because he's an absolute baller. I guess you've been playing for a while, mind, since game week 181. Jesus, yeah, you've been playing a long time. Looks like you took a bit of a gap maybe here, or didn't you win anything for maybe 50 game weeks? I hope you took a gap. Only messing with you, mate. But, okay, so you want to win valuable cards during MLS season to sell and win threshold in 240 limited and rare. I am looking to sell as many as my non-MLS cards right now, if and when they pop in price. Your focus on under 23 and all-star in rare and rare pro during MLS season and cap 240 all year long. Advice on which MLS and non-MLS cards should I look to sell? Fair play, mate. I love that sort of question situation. Yeah, let's have a look at what we got cooking here then. Can we go by league? We could, I guess, but let's just do it this way. Didn't have Euro cards during the gap. That makes sense. Sorry, mate. I completely blanked there. Alex says, the day I have that many rares will be a great day. Alex, the day will come very soon, mate, I'm sure. Let me just have a look at what you got limited wise. So you got 40. Okay, yeah. So you're very low at limited as far as like, yeah, just MLS, which is fun. That's just kind of fun for you, I assume. And then obviously you've got, you know, the majority of your money in the rares and obviously supers. So a lot of these are MLS. You've got obviously an under 23 keeper here in Jonas Urbig, who I assume still starts. Yeah, he's been on a bloody heater, by the way. Like, would you not be like, he screams to me as a sell personally. Chris says, hi Harry, I guess I missed mine. Was it near the beginning? Let me have a look, Chris, just where you were on my list, if that makes sense. I'll be able to work out roughly. Yeah, so Chris, you were... Oh, do you know what, Chris? I might have actually fucking missed you out. I need to do you again. My goal is to win threshold. Yeah, I definitely missed you out, Chris. We'll have to. I'll do your gallery after this, Chris. Sorry, you were wedged between Jack and Jonathan, but because for some reason it was so small, like what you wrote, if that makes sense, I literally just completely missed it, mate. So I'll have to do yours again. Pretty sure I did. Yeah, I definitely didn't do yours, Chris. So yeah, definitely do yours after this, Chris. Sorry, mate. Massively apologise for that. But yeah, as far as you, Gecko, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be selling this Jonas Urbig, to be honest. I don't know what he's doing for you right now. I assume you're playing him. Let's have a look what you're doing with him. Urbig is under 23 until 2028, just waiting for the right time to sell, I guess. Completely agree with you, mate, but like, you know, fucking hell, he's had like 4 clean sheets in a row. Like, is it going to get much better? Chris says, sorry, been a busy one. No worries at all, mate. Like, yeah, going back to yourself, Gecko, like, Jesus Christ, man. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clean sheets in 6 games. Like, if there's ever a time to sell, surely it has to be pretty soon in that sense. I know you bought him for 300 quid. He's probably worth, say, what is he worth now? 426. You made 100 quid on him. You know, it's not unbelievable, but it's 25%, which is decent these days on Sorare, if we're being honest, isn't it? DD just became a unique member. DD, welcome to the gang, mate. I really do appreciate it massively. You obviously will get your gallery review tonight and all the other perks that come along with it. So welcome to the channel, mate. I honestly massively appreciate that. But yeah, back to the Urbig. I know he's under 23 until 2028, Gecko. I understand that. But on his form, it feels like he's gearing towards a bit of a peak in that sense. Maybe not in price because, prices are down realistically across the board effectively, aren't they? So he stands out to me as a definite sell, if I'm being honest. I know you're playing him. Where's he to? Is he in here? So you got him in 240. Fair enough. You got him in 240. So I assume, he is still making, he's still sort of yielding for you. Barriel, love that. Sanko, some good players in there. Yeah, so he stands out, mate. I can't lie. He really, really does. Lammers, I'd probably keep Lammers because he's probably going to become a starter at some point at Antwerp after Boutez leaves, I assume. So he could definitely be a sell at some point. The Austrian situation's a bit annoying. I wouldn't sell this Philip Menzel until maybe they come back from not international, but the winter break, or gearing up towards the winter break. Sorry. So I'd definitely keep hold of him for now. Etienne Green could be a sell because Lassonnière is going to be coming back very soon, in December, I think, or maybe early Jan. So obviously Etienne Green is starting right now. Okay, you paid 500 quid for him. Can I see Etienne Green becoming a 500 quid goalkeeper anytime soon? No. And I know it's hard. I know it's very hard to let go of some of these prices. Like I paid fucking £700 for a what's his name? A Daniel Utkin rare card. He sent him for 30 quid. Like it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, but like sometimes you just do have to do it. And then like you said, invest in and then putting that money towards MLS cards, which is what you kind of said you want to do, would be, what I'd focus on. Like, you don't need this many non-MLS goalkeepers. Like, you don't need Urbig, Green, Menzel. Like, you don't need them all. I know you need one or two for Cap 240, and I completely understand that. So, like, you don't need to go selling all of them. But definitely sell the ones that, like, Urbig at 400 quid. You don't need a £400 goalkeeper in Cap 240 right now, do you? Let's be honest. I know he's playing well and whatever, but, like, you don't need that in there. It's kind of not a waste, but you could just do it cheaper in that sense, right? You got some interesting second keepers that, yeah, you probably just got to keep hold of these ones that aren't starters yet. I'm sort of just moving forward as far as, going into the rares. Tanner Teselman's been decent recently. Very decent. He could be gearing towards a sell. You're nearly doubling your money on him if you were to sell him right now as far as his floor. He could be an interesting sell as far as, like, European. I know he's American, so you might have a soft spot for him, but he definitely stands out for me. Depay, I'd wait a few games for Depay because he's coming back right now. 100%. Who have we got here? De Kaiser, okay. Like, a couple of these second string goalies, you just got to keep hold of them until they become number ones, in my opinion. I love that. Diego Luna, what a card. Reyna's an interesting one because, yeah, I just don't know what's going on with him. Sven Meinens is injured, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, a couple of those goalies, I would definitely consider getting rid of maybe an Etienne Green or an Urbig, to be honest. And then looking to invest that into MLS cards who are obviously on a bit of a low right now because, you can't use them for a little while. So that could be the cleverer thing to do, I would say. A couple of these cards down here, I mean, it's hardly any point selling most of them. I know a lot of these are under MLS in that sense, so you wouldn't really want to sell them anyway. Yeah, okay. Richie Ledesma, £7. That's crazy, isn't it? Some of these cards are so cheap these days. It's fucking mental. Drew Yearwood, I saw he's going to Nashville. So yeah, my sort of advice there. Let me have a look at your super rares, by the way. What are you doing at super rare? Are you playing capped or is it... Okay, so you've got some nice under 23 options. What are you doing with your super rares, Jimmy? Like, are we hoping... Like, what... As far as, like... Are you playing all, like, rare pros? I can't remember what you said on the thing, sorry. Yeah, you did say all-star rare and rare pro. Okay, yeah, so you're playing rare pro with some of these supers. Fair enough. That makes sense. Harry's a very good one to have, by the way. Very good player. So yeah, that would, I don't know if that's too much help, to be honest, Gecko, right now. So you do, yeah, I'm just reading now, obviously you do want to play All-Star Rare all year long, which is obviously a good idea. So, you definitely have to keep one or two of these. An All-Star, under 23 Rare Pro. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense, mate, because, yeah, I just don't think you need this many European starting goalies right now. If you're only basically, I know you said you're playing All-Star Rare sometimes as well, but like if Cap 240 is the bread and butter, I think having a Jonas Urbig at 400 quid just doesn't make sense for me personally. I just don't think you need that right now. Throwing extras into 220 cap just to see what happens. Okay, so 240 cap isn't priority per se. Is what I'm gaining from that. But yeah, any sort of other questions, Gecko? I don't know how well I've sort of explained that, to be honest. Maybe I've done it, well enough and you're kind of okay with it. But, you look pretty set. You're definitely set for the MLS in under 23. Santi, Talis Magno, Barriel. Got some good players in there. Brian Gutierrez. You've got the main sort of MLS boys in there. So I'm not worried about that. You've got a little Yorbe in there. Love to see that. Sounds good. I bought all my keepers when they were second string. That's such a good flipping tactic, mate. Genuinely. Like, really, really good. I know it's, people have deployed that for a while, but very, very good tactic. And like I said, when they do pop, like Jonas Urbig is popping right now, 5 clean sheets out of 6, I think that has to be the time you've got to be thinking about selling these cards personally and then turning them into maybe even more MLS super rares potentially with prices being down right now. No worries at all, Gecko. I really appreciate your time, mate. And honestly, it means the absolute world to me, you becoming a member, genuinely now. Chris, we will go back to yours, mate, because, yeah, I was very stupid and completely just missed you out, mate. I don't know how I done it, to be honest. I haven't stopped talking for like 2 hours, maybe even longer. What time is it? Yeah, nearly 2 hours. But it's been fun, boys. I fucking love doing this. We've still got quite a few to go. 2 or 3 left, I think. But as far as Chris says, my goals are to win thresholds and cards as much as possible and build a massive limited gallery with loads of options. I currently play All-Star Cap 220 for the current long form, 240, 270, and the occasional on 23. As for anything answered, I'd like to know if you think I'm falling short in any positions. It's tough playing internationals and midweeks at times. So, without looking, Chris, I'm going to say that Jonathan says Menzel is very cheap. Yeah, it's because of the Austrian winter break, isn't it, Jonathan? Surely, winter break is like 2 or 3 months long for them, isn't it? So I assume that's kind of why that is that. As far as yourself, Chris, obviously, yeah, you are the Bellingham and Haaland boy, aren't you? Or guy, sorry. And obviously Mbappe. Like, you've got some wicked cards, mate. Like we said, we said it obviously yesterday on the lineup stream. Like, you've got the card. You've got 5 fucking really good cards every game week to go out in All-Star Rare. As does other people. All-Star Limited, sorry. So, you've got competition, obviously. But, like, you've got the main boys. You've got Mbappe, Bellingham, Haaland, whatever. Like, you've got really good cards. Chris says, be honest with me, do you think I should step up with Rare? I know card prices are low and the prizes are lucrative. So yeah, like, as a rule of thumb, judging off what I've been saying to other people with the gallery size of yours, Chris, in the stream, like, you could go back and watch it if you wanted to, or you can just listen to what I'm saying now, and I'm gonna say the exact same thing. I've basically said that, like, if your gallery's worth more than £1,000 and you're just playing limited, I think you're doing it a little bit wrong. In your case, yours is worth 1.5 almost. I would say you're better off half in that and using 750 into Rare. £750, that is, roughly. You might not even have to do that. Let's just call it 600 quid. £800 in limiteds if you want, because I know you want to have a big limited gallery and have options there. I get that. But ultimately, Cap 240 Rare is where, the potential yield and the ROI is there, And I think, as far as if we go into SO5 stats, your gaming yield at 61 quid, if I'm being honest, isn't good enough for the amount of money you have in the game, in my opinion. But you're playing limited, so it is hard. I'm not saying I would do much better, because I probably wouldn't. You've seen my road to glory, mate. It's fucking hard. I salute you. Like, I'm not saying, I'm not looking down upon you in any way. It's fucking hard, like it is. But with the amount of cards, or, the price of cards you have, I would look to go play Rare 240, one goalkeeper for now, a bunch of outfield options, and I would go and threshold hunt. I really, really would. I know it's going to be hard letting go of like big cards, you know, your Bellinghams, etc., etc. Like, it's not easy to do that because, you know, it's lovely being able to play Bellingham. I get it. I play rare and super rare. I can't even buy a Bellingham myself in that sense. Like, I could, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's not nice having to give up a limited Bellingham because it's so fun to be able to watch cards like that. And that's the beauty of Sorare. Sometimes, you know, it's not all about ROI. It's definitely not. That's why I'm saying, like, don't go and sell this whole gallery because you clearly have fun at limited. I get it. But comes a time where, with the amount that you've got invested, I think you'd have to have roughly half of this invested in rare cards, I think. Chris says, I always struggle with rare goalkeepers. Do you mean, like, scouting them in that sense? Like, I don't know if you were on stream earlier when we looked at Jonathan's gallery, but, like, he's looking at, like, Silason for, like, 170 quid, rare goalkeeper playing for NEC in the, you know, in the Dutch league. Like, you can get starting keepers for, like, 200 quid now. You just can. Like, let's do a quick little search, right? Let's go scout, player and card finder. I don't know how amazing this is going to be as far as, like how this is going to work out. I hope it plans out okay. But let's go rare. Let's go filter by floor price. Let's just call it 250 quid. And let's just go £100 floor so we don't see any of the non-starters. And we want starter. Let's just see what pops up for now. Just to help you along your way a little bit, right? Like, I'm not an expert in all these keepers, but I'm just scanning through some of these prices, right? Like, let's disregard a David Marcel because he's expensive. But, like, someone like you, Chris, I don't know if you're big into the MLS at all, but, like, want to get into it. But, you know, some of these MLS prices for keepers, Zach McMath, Freeze is a bit more expensive, but much cheaper. Like, 220 quid for a Matt Freeze, who's a very good keeper, by the way. Jonathan says, Silason's my gem, don't mention him. Sorry, Jonathan, I am sorry, mate. There's only 23 people watching now, so, you know, it's not going to be shared too much, but no, I am sorry, mate. But, like, Barisha for Empoli, 200 quid. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy these specifically, but I'm just giving you price points. Let's have a look down here. Brad Stuver, I know he's MLS again, but 200 quid. Galeese, 250, but he plays internationals. What have you got? Ryman, 220 quid for Bochum. Okay, not a great team, but you get the point. Stefan Fry, a bit older again. Joe Willis is being given another contract extension, 130 quid for his card. I don't know if he's going to be definitely number one at Nashville, but there's a decent chance he would be. Like, Turkish keepers, Gaten Kooks, 230 quid. Like, you know, you don't have to, you know, that's a limited Bellingham, basically, isn't it? Sirwa, Sereno says in the chat, maybe it's because I dived into rare and didn't give it a chance really, felt a little stuck with the players I had and goalkeepers were like £400 minimum. That's fair enough, Chris. Yeah, maybe, you know, times were different then. But right now, I think there's a time where, like, rare goalkeepers are definitely doable on 2 to 250 budget. Whether that you want to wait for MLS, whether you want to go straight into Europe, I can't give, you know, I can't tell you what to do in that sense. Like, you'd have to make your mind up if you want to be exposed to the MLS. I don't know how so knowledgeable or whatever you are, or, like, you know, what your thirst is for that. But if it's not, then obviously, you know, European goalkeepers it is, and I think that would be my sort of advice to you, mate, to be honest. So I hope that helps somewhat. I'm just checking what else we've got as far as yeah, so the next ones then, lads, is going to be Motadays. We've got DD. There's a couple more, isn't there? ILT is the next one we need to do. He messaged me privately. ILT, if you're still here, I'm pretty... Actually, sorry. I need to just look back, don't I? ILT definitely told us his Tangled Berry. You're definitely getting a gallery review as well, mate. So don't worry about that, unless I've already done one for you, but I don't think I have a Tangled Berry. Let me know your details in the chat, please, mate, and we'll get yours sorted. But I'm just trying to find ILT's gallery name, unless I've missed it. Oh, yeah, I've got it. Thank you, mate. I've got it. Chausius. Boom. Okay. Okay, so ILT, blah, 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 blah. I found a foundation of winning limited rewards and grinding cap 240 rare, but I want to make a step up and start winning rewards in rare divisions. That for me seems a struggle right now, so I sold some of my rares and left with only grinding the cap 240 rare. Okay. So when you say you've sold some of your rares, do you have a balance right now, ILT? How is that looking for you? So I'm just catching up with the stream. Static. Hi, Harry. Been on Sorare a while, but kind of stagnating. Fancy going into my rare MLS. Fancy going into rare MLS or rare super, or maybe super rare. My gallery is Oliver Drew. Oliver, unfortunately, I'm not saying this in like a dicky way or like a, I don't know why I said dicky, but like whatever way this just negatively, sort of misconstrued. Like gallery reviews are for members only. So I've been, as part of the perks on my channel, it's £1 a week. I do give a gallery review every month to my members, and unfortunately, I am sort of obligated to just give gallery reviews to my members because, like I said, I've made it a perk alongside other things. I build lineups for my members, etc., etc. So I can, I'm sorry to say that, if you want your gallery reviewed, then it's kind of become a member. Basically, is kind of what I'd suggest. And if you don't want to do that, I completely get it. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but that's all I'm saying, man. I know that might sound a bit of a shitty thing to say, but that's just the honest truth, man. I'm only here to be honest. It's as simple as that. Alex says, how often will the gallery reviews be? I assumed every month, Al, to be honest. Is how every month feels like the optimal way to do it. Obviously, I'll be building your lineups every week, as you know, so I get to know your gallery that way. But I feel like every month is fair, to be honest. We might do it, maybe every 3 weeks at some point, whatever it is. Obviously you're always welcome to ask me questions in the Discord, just on the off chance or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be just at this time every month that you get to ask questions. In that sense, obviously you get to ask me questions whenever you want. But if that makes sense, Al, do you think that's fair? Let me know. ILT said, I do have some budget. Okay, so you said you want to start winning cards in rare, is what I remember you saying. So if we look at your rare cards, they are worth just under half your gallery, which makes sense. Tangleberry has just sent me his DM as well, so I will be looking at your gallery very soon, Tangleberry. Thank you for the Discord DM. Okay, so let me get back to this. Let me sort of get in here. So half the gallery is worth just under half, say, of rare cards. We've got 2 goalkeepers. Tuscanov, very good forward there. We've got Ethan Hovrath as well. Is Ethan starting right now? I don't think he is he? Or is he? No, he's not. You probably have to wait on that one. Lewis Dunk, Wisa, Bazoo, Carlara, Burgess, Guido Rodriguez, Daroon, Emre Can, David Calabria. Okay, we've got a decent little stack here of cards. Amin Sa, it gets a bit tricky down here. Carlos Neva, Toonstra, Mark Bartra. So there's clearly, ILT says, I do have some of a budget. So, like, if I'm being honest here, this looks to me like a cap 240, like, threshold gallery right now, as far as your rares go. I'm not seeing too much quality to jump up to winning rewards. And when I say rewards, I mean, you might scrape cap 240 rewards now and again as far as, like, tier 4s go, whatever. But, we know it's quite hard to do that. So, like, and it's hard to win rewards anyway, obviously. But, you get my point. So, like, just going back to what exactly you said. So, you found a foundation winning limited and grinded 240, but want to make the step up to win rewards in rare divisions. So, like, for me, looking at this gallery, the only cards that, like, I would play in an all-star rare lineup, if I'm being brutally honest with you, is, like, Tustankov, Lewis Dunk. If I'm being honest, they're the only 2 that I'm looking there, and I'm saying, you know what? Okay, you could argue if Guido Rodriguez is set to start, he's definitely a good scorer as well. I'll give you that. But, like, 3 cards there, if I'm being completely honest, that I'm like, okay, they're like potential all-star rare players. Goalkeeper-wise, like, obviously not looking good there, is it? Unfortunately, just poor run of form or whatever. And then this guy, a little bit better to be fair, but no massive peaks. Definitely a cap 240 keeper, if I'm being honest. So like, off the bat, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, you're definitely missing a really good goalkeeper to go into an all-star rare lineup, being brutally honest with you. Like I said, Lewis Dunk is a decent defender, I'll give you that. Midfielder, Guido Rodriguez, okay, maybe, but I'd still prefer like a smasher mid in there that you can rely on. Tiskankov's good forward, I would say you could use. So in my opinion, you're missing a goalkeeper, you're missing a midfielder, and you're missing an extra player. So you're missing 3 cards for me, realistically. Or that's just to make 5. That's just to make one 5-man lineup, That's assuming all 5 of those have a good matchup in that sense. Have you thought about making maybe like a Girona stack potentially? Or like a semi-stack? Stankov, maybe getting like an Alexi Garcia if you can afford it. I don't know what is he going for right now. I know he's an expensive card, but what is he? 360 quid. Like, they're the type of cards, unfortunately, that you need to be buying. This is just being brutally honest. Like, not him per se, but like that type of scorer to be hitting rewards. Like, it's competitive, man. Like, it is. And I'm not saying you don't know that, but that's just the truth. Like, you do need good cards to be winning cards in All-Star Rare. Now, you don't have to play All-Star Rare if we're talking about, like, winning cards, if that makes sense. There's obviously other ways to do that. But, like, Champion Europe is very hard to win rewards. So is Challenger. It's hard everywhere. But I'm just saying, the good thing about Gas is, okay, you're competing against everyone, but there is that chance of, getting the cash rewards as well as the cards if you get the top 100 or whatever. So that's where I'm going. Like, that's how I'm sort of dissecting that rare side of things. As far as your limiteds go, I'll be honest with you. I know you've got, like, you must have basketball cards in here as well. But, like, excuse me, let's just go football alone. So you've got 1.3k in football. Like, it looks like you've got some really good limited cards. But I would assume that if, like, you want to improve those rare cards, I know you said you have a balance. I would look to trim down this rare collection personally a little bit. Like, maybe by 25%, roughly. I know that means, you're going to have to get rid of some of these, good cards. But, like, winning cards at limited just aren't really going to do it for you too much. Like, looking at that gaming yield, that's 6 thresholds at rare, realistically, isn't it? Like, you could do that by the end of the season if you have, some better rare cards to go towards your 240 effort. And obviously, putting out a gas lineup. Now, do I think you having a gas lineup is needed? Right now, I don't think it is. I don't think you need to go out and buy an Alexi Garcias and whatever. Like, I think for you, I would be cutting down on your limited collection somewhat. And then I would be looking to add bit by bit a decent rare card to your gallery, to where, eventually you fall into a place where, like, you've got, good options for the Cap 240 every week. And that's kind of how I would build it out. Like, right now, I'm not saying this gallery can't win thresholds. It probably can, but it definitely needs a little improvement, I would say, in every position, potentially. Definitely up forward, I would say. Like, Carl Larin, and Tuscanov's a good player, don't get me wrong, but, like, you might not be able to fit him in all the time. I know his cap's pretty low right now, but eventually he's probably going to outscore that cap, I would assume. Jonathan says, I don't know if that's everyone's problem, but I'm too emotionally attached to my limiteds to sell them. I get that. We all are attached to our cards in some capacity, and I don't know, it just becomes a time where, like, you have to just go mind over matter sometimes. You just really do, lads, and that's just coming from a brutally honest position. Yeah, this game has to be fun for you, I agree, but do you need 200 limited cards when you've only got 10 rares and your goal is to play Cap 240 rare? Do you get what I'm saying? You just got to be realistic about it sometimes, I think. Jonathan, I'm just too lazy to sell the cards I don't actually want. That is another worry. But ILT, let me know if that makes sense. I hope it does. If there's anything more you want to ask me in that sense, feel free to ask me right now. And we can sort of, hash that out as well. But that's kind of where I'm at for you. Like, I don't think, like, I know you want to win cards right now, but I think winning consistent Cap 240 reward should be your, like, bread and butter, if I'm being honest. I think it should be cutting down on limiteds. Start building up a cash balance from selling your limiteds. 25% of them, let's just say, as a rough guide. Add a few new rare cards to your mix. And then, continuously win thresholds, hopefully. Build up that balance to where you're in a position then to go, okay, I could go out and buy a really decent MLS rare team here. And then you've got a team for the summer then, a rare team for the summer that could compete for a threshold, or you play it in All-Star Limited and you try and compete for cards and thresholds in that sense. Cards and cash. If you've bought good MLS cards for the summer. So do you get what I'm saying? That's kind of how I would try and progress that over these next few months. But obviously we'll get together next month as well to chat about things. But yeah, ILT, if that's all good for you, then ILT, as you said, I know that there has to be changes, and that's what I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I hope what I've just said to you, kind of narrows down those changes to you. Like I said, it's trying to cut down on those limiteds somewhat, 25%. Add a few rare cards that are going to help you in 240 now. Keep securing a consistent threshold, and then if you've got enough of a balance, maybe go out and continuously buy some MLS rare cards to build up an MLS team for the summer. Or it doesn't have to be MLS, but, Asia, whatever it is, to where you could play Cap 240 all year round then, potentially. And then you've got a constant churner of Ethereum coming into the gallery, which could be really lucrative. Just want to say, Yari Vasharan just came on the 66th minute, and they scored at the 67th minute. There's no way Yari got an assist, did he, on his first game, or first minute back, shall I say. That would be insane if he did. Las Palmas are winning 1-0. And my boy Cardona is shit in the bed. Sorry, lads, to be off topic a little bit, but yeah, I hope that makes sense, ILT. I really do. And yeah, like we said, we'll get together every month and we can obviously hash things out as that goes along. Tangled Berry is up next. He could be, actually, no, after DD. DD is going to be the last one. Tangled Berry, it looks like there's 2 Tangled Berries. But maybe this is you. I hope this is you. I'm currently competed in Limited Under 23. I can invest another £100 into the gallery, so I'm unsure what to do or whether to improve my Under 23 or not, or potentially go into Rare 240, then try and grind out Threshold, and then go back down into Limited Under 23 as well. Interesting. Okay, let's get into that Tangled Berry. ILT says, one more thing. What do you consider a good rare player for Cap Mode and All-Star? I consider, going back to that then. We've got you, Motadace, as well. Sorry, Motadace. Apologies, you are the GOAT. We've got Motadace and DD, and then obviously we will be doing Tangled Berry after. Well, yeah, we've got 3 left, basically, lads, is what I'm getting at. I really appreciate you being in here for that long, Motadace. But yeah, ILT, as far as what do I consider a good rare card for Cap Mode, somebody that's currently outscoring, like I showed you earlier, or maybe if you weren't here, that's fine. But something along the lines of this search I do in Sorare data. So starter, I go scores, L15 of, let's say, just 50. And then right now they're outscoring the L5 is outscoring the L15. Strong team, consistent AA, not a huge L15. Yeah, potentially they're probably the indicators, ILT, for sure. Somebody that's, guaranteed to play. Somebody that takes set pieces as a midfielder. I know I talk about this in a lot of my content, but I love set piece taking midfielders / players in general. Forwards, defenders, whatever. It's always a good sign if a player's L5, is higher than their L15 in that sense. You get into them on the right side. Like this guy here, Maxime, right? L15 of 50. Like, look at those scores. 93, 80. If he doesn't get that, he gets 25 AAs, 18 AAs, 26 AAs. There's obviously off days as well with poor matchups, but you get the point. He's 60 quid. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Those type of players is what I'm talking about, where they're very useful for capped, but then eventually their L15 is going to be too high, and then you move them into All-Star. Then you're able to use them in an All-Star competition. Side Baraki, look at this guy. Scores on, well, look at that. 57 AA, 47 AA. Massive AA scores. 15 AA and a 2-1 loss. Like, things like this is what I'd be getting into. As well as those 3 things you've said, strong team, consistent AA, and not a huge L15, it has to be a good run of fixtures as well, mate. You have to be looking for good runs of fixtures. That has to be something that's vital, I would say, in picking up players, to be honest. And yeah, obviously they have to be at the right price point as well. Like, and that's obviously a subjective thing, but you know, you kind of get the gist on that. So yeah, that would kind of be my sort of, tips on that. Tangled Berry up next, and we've got Motades and DD. Let's have a look at what we got going on here. So you're currently in under 23 limited. Gallery's worth £383. So let's have a look at the players you've got here. So you're basically saying you've got £100 to add into the gallery. Unsure what to do with it. Should you improve your under 23 or should you go into cap 240 rare? Okay, so Kvashvila, Bakayoko, O'Reilly, Van der Voort, Silva, Teze, Gertruda, Kochu, Decipher, Gehi. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is got two good forwards, mid. Obviously, Kochu's not playing. Maxime Decipher, the midfielder version of Maxime Decipher is a little bit pointless, I would say. Like, he's just not as good as a midfielder. I would probably sell that card if I'm being honest to you. Tangleberry. I just don't think it makes sense if I'm being honest. Like, your best team here is what? Van der Voort. Any one of Silva, Teze or Gertruda. O'Reilly, Bakayoko, Kvashvila, basically, isn't it? I would say, I mean, it's interesting. Like, you've got a very good under 23 limited team. Like, there's not much you can really, really add to that. Potentially another really good midfielder. Because you don't want to rely on two forwards every time. I know you could go two defenders as well, don't get me wrong. But having another really strong midfielder option would be my next thing I would say to you. Let's have a look at midfielders under 23. Like, obviously Bellingham's the main guy, but someone like, so Saka's over 100 quid. Theo Leone, who have we got here? Phil Foden. Who could we pick up here? Someone like Josh Eccles, by the way, 10 quid. Like, he's playing very, very well right now. Jonathan says you need some more under 23 international utility. What are you saying for Tangled Berry, Jonathan? I kind of get that, but then I'm also like, you know, I'd concentrate on, you know, sometimes you need to, you know, walk before you, or crawl before you can walk in that sense. And, you know, concentrate on winning consistent rewards in under 23 first in the weekends, and then move over to internationals. I wouldn't really worry about internationals per se right now, in my opinion. I don't think that's needed. But definitely some midfielder options to add to this I would definitely be looking at. Maybe someone like Quinton Timber, potentially. Timber, Eccles. I'm obviously a bit biased. I own them both. But definitely, Daniel said get Eccles in. I definitely would shadow what he said there. Kakare, interesting one as well. Like, there's definitely players here you could be picking up. But, like, that's not to say you're definitely going to go out and win rewards. Like, what are we looking at here? 24 gaming yield. Okay, you won Gertruda. Fair play. That's really cool. So, like, the thing for me is, look, it's fun playing under 23 limited. And even with, as we can see here, some really good players, right? Okay, he's not the best of the best. Like, there's no Bellingham in there. But there is some very good, very, very good players in that gallery of yours, Tangleberry, right? Best reward you've won is Gertruda, right? Which is a fucking very good reward. It's a tier 1. You finished 22nd out of like 10,000 people, which is fucking mental, mate. Congratulations. What is he worth? 20 quid. So what I would pose to you is, Tangleberry said he doesn't like Eccles. Tangleberry, sometimes you need to put numbers over what you don't like and like. This is just me being brutally honest. Like, you can't like every player that you own in a weird way. Like, sometimes you just need players to score you points. Because at the end of the day, you want to win cards, don't you? Sometimes you have to just put what you like to the side sometimes. I'm not saying all the time, but in some situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, that has to be a thing sometimes. Yeah, that's kind of my take on that. That's not me saying you have to go out and buy a Josh Eccles, but you know, you get the points. But what I was trying to get at was, lad, like, Gertruda's your best reward, tier 1, right? Fucking unbelievable reward to win. And congratulations for doing that. But he's worth 20 quid, 23 quid. I know prices are down a little bit now, but whatever. I know he's a bit more than that at some point. Fair enough. And I know, is his scores gone down a little bit? Yeah. His scores haven't been great recently, which is definitely a reason for that. So what my point was trying to get at was, like, that's six cap to 40 thresholds. Like, for me, if you've got £100 to spend, I would be looking at trying to build a cap 240 limited team first, if I'm being honest, and start winning those $5 thresholds. Because, and I'm not saying spend £100 on that cap 240 team, I'd say go and spend 30, 40 quid on it max. See if you can win 10 thresholds before the end of the season. Can you pay off that £40? That would be what I would be doing. I wouldn't move up to rare threshold right now. I just don't think you'd be doing it on like a budget in that sense, and I just don't know if it's worth it realistically. Like, I know your gallery's worth say 350 quid. Let's say you'd add 100 quid to that. You could do it on 450 quid, I think, but it would be tough. Like, it's not something that I expect you to hit like most weeks. Whereas, like, I think you're gonna have a lot more fun for now playing under 23 limited with the cards you have, because you have some really good cards. You won't win an incredible amount of rewards, as we've seen. You've won, a couple of rewards so far, tier 3, tier 1. Decent, but like as far as like value, like they're not unbelievable, are they? Because, most limiteds aren't that, that expensive anymore. Tangleberry says, Dan, I support Burrow and Eccles, and Sheriff both annoy me. Sheaf, sorry. Fair enough, he's a Burrow fan. Well, Tangleberry, I'm a massive Sam Greenwood fan, so I hope you are as well, because we could definitely bond over that. But you get what I'm saying, mate? Like, with £100, I'd spend a little bit of that on a cap 240 lineup, if I'm being honest. Unless you've already got one. I don't think you have, do you? Or do you? Do you have a cap 240 lineup? I don't think you do. Well, no. Yeah, you don't, to be fair, do you? Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd build out a cap 240 limited lineup for like 40 quid, maybe a bit less. You could probably do it on less. I'd buy a couple of more under 23. Dan Cooper said, laugh my ass off. Good, I'm glad. You should be happy. Who's that? Who left you? Oh, Hammer left us. So yeah, with 40 odd quid, I would build a cap 240 limited team. It doesn't have to be under 23, but you can if you want. And then with the rest of the money, or a little bit of that money, I would buy some extra under 23 quality. Like we mentioned some of those players earlier. Who did we mention? Sorry, we mentioned Eccles. I know you don't want to buy Eccles, but Quinton Timber potentially. Who else have we got here? That's like Max Kakare. Max Kakare maybe. Abdelli for 12 quid. Like, there's some decent players here. Adam Zorgan for 6 quid. Decent. Very, very decent. What else have we got? So you get my point. I would build out that limited gallery for a little bit longer, the under 23, because I know you probably enjoy it because you've got good cards and whatever. Tangleberry said, so sell Disciple, buy a decent cap 240 team, and buy a couple of midfielders for under 23. Exactly that, mate. That would definitely be my advice for you, 100%. Potentially another under 23 goalkeeper. Okay, this is what I would say to do. Buy an under 23 goalkeeper, so you can rotate with Van der Voort. Use one of those cards in cap 240 limited, one of those goalkeepers. Obviously, use the other one in under 23 limited every week, and then obviously do it that way. It's kind of what I'm getting at. Definitely buy some midfielders as well. Midfielders, under 23 midfielders, under 23 goalkeeper, sell Decipher, and then buy some cap 240 outfield players. Bosh. Absolute bosh. Okay, DD and Motadace is next. Motadace, I do need... I need to know what your situation is as far as what you want, like, answered and whatever, because I don't know too much about your story in that sense. Unless you've told me in the Discord. I don't think you have. If you have, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I don't know if you have. So let me know if you have, mate. And yeah, we'll get into that. And then after that, we'll do DD, and then we'll be done. Tangled said, I want Trubin to stack with Silva, but it's too expensive, you think? I mean, yeah, what is Trubin's price? He's quite expensive, isn't he? Like, really expensive. Now they're out of the Champions League, though. He should drop in price, I would say. Wait a little bit longer until they're out of the Champions League, and then maybe stack him with Antonio Silva. But right now, I don't think it's that optimal to do so. Anderlecht have just scored again, by the way. Yari Rashan with a 6 AA. Does he get a decisive for us? Yeah, I'm gutted about Cardona. He's not doing the business for me tonight, which is Casper Dolberg scored. Preston are losing. Yeah, Motadays, let me know your situation if you're still here. Because obviously I still want to give a review to you, but I don't know how that's going to sort of go in that sense unless we have your information in that sense. But like, I've just brought the Bayern boys, so hoping to win some rewards. I definitely need another keeper though. Okay. So this is the boys you've got going on so far. Let's go into roster price. And what competitions are you playing, mate? I'm not sure if I should stick with Bayern in All-Star or Champ. It would depend week on week, to be honest. Okay, so I guess you don't have many limited at all, do you? Okay, you just have a couple. So who have you got from Bayern? Let's have a look. You got Sane, Kingsley, Leroy, Mazraoui. Yeah, I mean, you're obviously missing Neuer right now. That would be the big miss, aren't you, realistically? Tangled says, Dan, the only 3 COV players I don't mind is Warhammer, Gyökeres, and Allen, but obviously 2 left. Love that. But yeah, Dan's not sure where to play his cards in that sense. Well, it's all going to depend on the matchup in that sense. Like, if there's a smashing matchup, right, for Bayern, you're going to want to play your Bayern cards in Champ Europe. Like, playing Champ Europe cards in All-Star, most of the time doesn't make too much sense, I don't think. Like, you want to use Champ Europe cards to win more Champ Europe cards. And now in Champ Europe that you have like ETH on the podiums or ETH on the top 10, 15, it makes much more sense to do that. So like you want to be playing them there. I just noticed you have Herodeki, so I love that. So like let's build out like your best team, if that makes sense. If we were to just build out a team. So we've got Herodeki, Mazraoui, Tapsoba. You've got Blind in there as well. Fair play. Let's just call it Blind and Tapsoba for now. Midfield, you got some wicked choices there between Palacios, Fulrich, and Paqueta. But let's just play Sane and Kingsley for now. So you're going heavy Bayern forward there, aren't you? Obviously, Paqueta or Palacios would be the play, depending on which game week it is. But like, so Motade says usually All-Star Champ and 270 and 240, but missing a keeper. Right, so, okay, so you've got, how many playing keepers do you have then? I guess you've got 2 playing keepers, right? Castiles and Herodeki. So you can only play, realistically, you can only play 2 full lineups every week, I assume. Like, that is a good champ team, I'll be honest. Like, that's a very good champ team, mate. Very, very good. And then for like All-Star Rare, it would... Okay, you have got another goalkeeper. Does he play? Yeah, he does play. Sorry, yeah, he does play. 3 goalkeepers. Yeah, sorry, mate, sorry. So, yeah, obviously he's got a low... Well, yeah, they both got similar L15s. Like, your champ team looks something like what? Something along the lines of... Carl Walker Peters is a very good card, by the way. Let's just call it Castiles. Mazraoui, we could call it Blind, whatever we want to call it. Even Goretzka, like some good mate. You've got some really good cards. Like I love the quality you have. Like out the bat, there's some like I've just made 2 good lineups there. Realistically, like the champ team's a bit better if I'm being honest, but like this All-Star Rare team's still quite poppable. Like it just is. Then obviously you go cap 240. Right, so you're playing 270 as well. See, I think that's where you're going wrong a little bit more today. So I would be playing 240 now with my goalkeeper. If that makes sense. Like, I know some of these caps might not be too helpful in that sense, but like, I think you need to be playing cap 240, like, or taking it more serious in that sense. Right now, boys, like, if you're not playing cap 240 rare and you're playing rare, I don't know what you're doing. Like, the threshold is just too lucrative to not be winning. Like, I know it's not possible to do it with this, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you need to be doing something like this, I think, where cap 240 is a priority alongside the other two. That would be what I would be looking to do. I think like, I know you want to win card rewards and everyone does, but like, cap 240 rare, lads, is underrated, that threshold, being able to win that. It genuinely is. I know I've batted on about it all night, but it's so lucrative. It really, really is. So yeah, that would be my sort of advice on that. Does that make sense? What today? It's like, are you on board with what I'm saying there? As far as like, you need to be playing cap 240 a bit more seriously. Your All-Star Rare and Champ Europe Rare can look good. It can look decent, like very decent, mate, on given matchups. You can just tell by the L15s of these guys. Like, they're fucking good players. Mardan says, yeah, so go for 240 instead of 270 if I can. 100%, Mardays. 100%. 100%. Okay, DD, if you are still here, mate, 1, I hope you're still breathing because you've been here a long time. 2, thank you so much for becoming a member. And 3, let me know the details of your sort of gallery and stuff and what you want to, what you want me to chat about. DD, I'm guessing it's this one as a gallery. Motade says, my All-Star looks alright this week, but think from now I'll mainly put buying in champ. Yeah, I would always say, Motade says, a rule of thumb, try and always play your best champ guys in champ. Just keep that as a rule of thumb. DD says, my gallery might be a bit too long to go through in detail. I essentially play everything, lol. Maybe critique on lineup configs for now, as thinking of redistributing funds for more supers and uniques soon. Okay, makes sense, DD. I mean, this will probably be more, well, that sort of, what's the word? Like, exercise. I appreciate that, DD, a lot. Sub more to support the channel than anything else. Mate, honestly, that fucking means the world to me, genuinely, DD. But what I was getting at was, as far as, like, the redistribution of funds and sort of the critiquing the lineup configs, I think that'll be, like, you know, when I build lineups every Monday and Thursday for my members, obviously, and you're now one, thankfully, I think that'll probably, like, I'll be able to give you a better representation of what I think. You know, I'm not saying, you know, you probably know as much as me, if not more, about Sorare with the amount that you have in the game in that sense. But, like, you know what I'm getting at is, like, I'll have a better representation of what you could build, or what I could build with your gallery, you know, once I have game weeks to look forward to. Obviously, if we look back, it's a little bit different, isn't it, in that sense? Like, you know, G Worms, what's going on, mate? Just become a member. Am I too late for the session? Not at all, mate. You are definitely not too late for the session at all. You will be my last member to have their gallery review tonight. Well, unless anyone else becomes a member. But 1, I just want to massively thank you for becoming a member. And 2, yeah, let me know what your gallery name is, G-Worms, and let me know a little bit about your gallery, what questions you would like answered, and we'll get through that after I've gone through DD's gallery on screen. But yeah, just want to say a massive thank you, mate, for becoming a member. Genuinely, lads, I did not expect this many of you guys to become members tonight. It's honestly, like, blown my mind, genuinely. Like, honestly, I'm actually quite blown away. I really, really am. But yeah, DD, I definitely want to, like, with the gallery you have, obviously, it'll be really fun to build some lineups for you, especially your priority lineups. Like, every Monday and Thursday I build lineups for everyone. I only normally have time to do 3 lineups each, if that makes sense. So, like, you know, your main 3, which is fun to do, but obviously, yeah, you're playing a lot of things here. I'm just looking at PS. You got a ton of super rares, a ton of limiteds, obviously a stupid amount of rares as well, and obviously then the uniques and supers. Let's just have a look through these rewards. I mean, I'm guessing you're just a massive fan of every, you know, you just want to play everything, and I get that. With the gallery size you have, you can probably afford to do that and not be spread too thin. Loving the Nishikawa and Schultz combo. Ethan Pinner, Kelleher for the winter comp. I like to see it. Kickoff unique. Sam Larson, has got you off to a flyer there. Fair play, fair play. Under 23, you've got the Chevalier Yoro stack, which I love to see. Sugawara, captain. Paul Newbelt, decent player. Damarai, very good start there for you. Thanks for that. I'm off now. Motodays, you're the GOAT, mate, for staying in for so long. 2 hours and 36 minutes. Genuinely, mate, means the world to me. Second Div Europe, Challenger Europe Rare Plus. And then we've got All-Star Super Rare, which is fun. Altega Super's nice. Kazumi Super Rare, love to see that. What a player. And then we've got Champ America Rare. Scamuel says, Eunice is on 86 right now. Massive for 240. Plus you captained him. Love that, mate. That's huge for you. I'm buzzing. Very, very excited for you. Rare Plus, Gvardiol, Luis Alberto. Okay. Gutas. Love that. Suarez is a sub. That's annoying. Very annoying. Rare Plus. Meslier, good fixture. Well, decent fixture. Manuel FIFA, sorry. Enzo Doku Mitsuta, interesting. Okay. Ethan Pinnock, super rare. Nice. Wisa, super rare. That's 240 as well. Okay. Not a great start. What was his cap? 34. Okay. Well, he's outperformed it, which is still semi-decent. Champion rare. We got Trent and Van Dijk. Like to see that. Some good fixtures there for those 5. I mean, you've got some obviously really good cards, clearly. Bruno Super Rare is very nice. Douglas Luiz, very good card to have right now. Ben Mee making an All-Star Rare Plus lineup. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Big Ben Mee there. And then a load of limiteds down here. All-Star Rare. Big Luciano Acosta. Love to see it. Some more. 240. Wow, Jean Mario in there's big. Marcus Edwards. Got Musiala in academy. A couple of injuries, I guess, in here. Okay, yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, I'll be more interested to see what we can do, like sort of next Thursday with you, DD, as far as like building like some of your better lineups. Or when I say better, I mean like your sort of 3 most prioritized lineups. I'm just looking at what you won last week. Like, G Worm's my name. Oh. Okay, sorry, I'm just being... Recently got into rare, got Wolves and Everton collections to help threshold with collection score. Use limited for fun. What in rare do I need to do next? Can run 2 teams. 2 teams. Definitely get into that in a minute. General tips as well. No worries at all, G-Worms. We'll definitely be diving into yours in a minute. But I'm just looking through some of DD's results. Like last week, tier 3, tier 4, obviously a couple of decent results in limited. But like, no threshold there, which is quite interesting. How close were you for 240, or did you even play? Oh, this was midweek, to be fair, wasn't it? Sorry, that's midweek. I'm kind of slating you there when I probably shouldn't be. Here we go. Yes, you did get the cap 240, which is huge. Fair play. That's the bloodline of the lifeline. Sorry, of galleries. 1 tier. Yeah, it's a good fucking week. It's a very decent week. I can't fault that at all. Just want to look at just your recent sort of results in that sense. Like, what are you doing every weekend? Oh, this was international break, wasn't it? I think. To be fair, threshold again. So yeah, you're very consistent with the threshold, it seems. So I'm guessing threshold is one of your more prioritized lineups, DD. 240, obviously. Wow, you won kickoff unique, mate. That's fucking sick. Big Bernard, that is huge. Fair play, mate. That's class. No, that's really, really cool. 10th in Rare Plus as well. Fair play, mate. No, I'm excited. I'm honestly just excited to just build build some lineups for you every game. Obviously, you don't have to use them, but it's just nice to be able to fiddle around with a gallery this size in that sense, and be interesting to see, what sort of lineups we, like me and you, have, comparatively, and see what variations we make of your galleries and stuff. So yeah, no, it's interesting to. Like, I don't want to critique anything this weekend because, like, you've built them already. So, like, it's hard for me to really go into that. I think the critique has to come in, like, next week in that sense, when we start building lineups, against each other. When I sort of build your best 3 lineups and see what you come up with and kind of go from there. Cap 240 Super Rare, usually the first one I build. Yeah, fair play. Okay, yeah, that's similar to me. Well, the same as me, actually. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what we build for you next week, to be honest, mate. But, yeah, if that's kind of okay with you, is that okay for me to move on to G Worms as our last member? Sorry, I went blank there. How do we get You can't put... G-Worms, what is your gallery name? Is it just GW? Or am I just being stupid? Like I feel like there's a crayon there. No worries at all, GD. And honestly, mate, you know, becoming a member, honestly, it genuinely means so flipping much to me. Like genuinely now, like honestly, I can't even begin to tell you. Okay, GW, I've got your gallery on the screen. Sorry, mate, I got confused with the crayon thing, but I've got it going now. So recently got into rares. Got Wolves and Everton collections to help threshold. And then for collection score, so let me just see how much of your gallery's worth is in limiteds. Okay, so wow, a decent portion, over half, which is interesting. Use limiteds for fun. What in rare do I need to do next? He's got the crayon to be awkward. That's fine, mate. I understand. It's all good. Okay, so 1.3k. I just want to see what you're playing this weekend before I just get into anything else. So a load of limiteds. You got Cap 240 and then an all-star. Does that have a... Yeah, okay, so it's only one goalkeeper, I assume. You're playing Winter Comp as well. Fair play. Okay, can't fault that. And then Cap 240. Captain's your goalkeeper. GW, that's one of my pet peeves on Sorare is captaining goalkeepers. Something that I never like to do. So that is probably one of the first sort of general tips I would give you personally. Is to never captain not never, but very rarely should you captain a goalkeeper, in my opinion. Their ceiling is just a lot lower than an outfield player, per se. Like, you know, if anyone's going to pop off in this lineup, it's probably going to be one of your outfielders, if we're being honest. That's just how this game kind of works. The chances of your goalkeeper outscoring any of your outfielders is quite low, I would say. Like, they are at home, fair enough, to Hansa Rostock. Like, they might get a clean sheet, but I would have to think that one of these outfielders would get maybe a 60 plus. Maybe. Like, I know Rune because I have his super rare. Like, I know a couple of these players. Like, I get it. But, like, for me, I think captaining a goalkeeper is very... Like, I think he's just limiting your upside massively, personally. Like, I just can't see how your goalkeeper scores like a 77 like this defender does. So that would be, like, my first rule of thumb. I captained goalkeeper this week only because my best player is in Winter Comp. I feel like to get the clean sheet to threshold anyway is kind of a test. Oh, fair enough. I get it, mate. Like, I'm not saying it's not going to work for you this weekend, 100%. But yeah, that's kind of what I would sort of, add to that. But yeah, at least you know. Like, I'm not saying I'm, like I said, I'm not no messiah in that sense. But that's kind of like a rule of thumb. Just seeing here, 1 of 100 Idris Gay, which is fun as well. So that is like my first thing. I'm just looking at the rest of your lineup. So, and then as far as rosters go, like the first thing that the shouts out to me, mate, the fact that you've told me that you only play limited for fun. Yeah, you've got more limited as far as gallery value than rares. Tells me that's a bit of a problem personally. Like, I think you should have less gallery value in your rare limiteds than you do rare, if I'm being completely honest. Just as like analysing your gallery just from the bat. Off the bat, sorry. So that would be my first sort of protocol. I would say, could you try and cut down 25%, 30% of that limited gallery, sell it up, turn it into rare cards in that sense, to give yourself a good chance of being able to hit the cap consistently. I don't know what your gaming yield is. I'm just seeing here is 280 quid. And I guess a lot of that, has that come from, well, I guess, yeah, 270 quid's come from thresholds, I assume, right? Is that kind of how that would work? So you've got 240, 220, 240. Yeah, so, wow, you hit, that's ridiculous, by the way. 464 points in cap 240 is mental. Oh, that's cap 240 limited. Sorry. Jesus, I had a heart attack then. I thought you scored that in rare. That would be fucking mental. Just want to go back to some of your game weeks just to have a little look at how you got on. Okay, so Ashley Young gave away a pen. That's just very unfortunate there, to be honest. But, yeah, I think I hit a podium. Yeah, that's... Oh, did you? Wow. Fair play, mate. That's unreal. Where's the podium situation then? Where's the podium? Oh, this one. Julian Alvarez. No, that's not podium. Where's the podium to? Or am I just being blind? Lads, am I being blind? Where's the podium? Anyway, going back to roster price and whatever, I really do think you should cut down on that limited gallery somewhat. If you're telling me it's for fun, I don't think you should have £1,700 in a fun gallery in that sense as limited. I think you have to dedicate a bit more of that to be competitive at rare. Personally, is kind of what I would say. I hit a podium, Musiala. I'm being blind, didn't I? There he is. Sorry, third. Sorry, mate. I completely fucking missed that. Fair play, mate. That's massive. Sam Sculler helped us as well. Yeah, no, that's huge, mate. Fair play. But like, okay, so this is the realization, okay? This is it, lads. I'm putting it into perspective for you. You finished third out of 9,000 people, okay? And you've won yourself an £80 card. I know he's like lower than he usually is because he's injured. Let's just call him a £100 card, right? How many thresholds is £100, lads? 2.5. How hard is it to finish third in under 23 limited compared to hitting 2.5 thresholds? What is the ratio? Or like, how much harder is it to finish third in under 23 limited than it is to hit 2.5 thresholds, lads? There's 25 of you in here. Give me some guesses. Like, what would you say? Like, how many times harder? I'm gonna say it's 10 times harder to finish third in under 23 limited than it is to hit 2.5 cap 240 thresholds. Let me know what you think. It's all subjective, but that's just kind of what our opinions are kind of telling us for now. Yeah, let me know what you would sort of devote to that. So what my point is, it just comes back to what I'm saying. Can we sell a couple of these limiteds? Crazy disproportionate. Yeah, maybe even more than 10x. 50x, M. Ben says. There we go. Maybe I was underselling myself in that sense. It's ridiculous, isn't it? So like, G-Worm said you're spot on. So, sometimes you just gotta be brutally honest with yourself and just say, you know what, maybe I do need to cut down on my limiteds. Maybe I do need to improve my rares. And after a while, you'll get enough rares to where, okay, I'm hitting the threshold enough every other week, whatever, to where I go, okay, let's start building a nice little all-star rare lineup if I can, or whatever, an MLS rare lineup, whatever it is. Like, you don't just think just because you're playing rare you have to play just cap 240 rare. Like, obviously that's the starting point, and if you're getting good enough at it, you should keep doing it until you're at a point where like you're hitting it not effortlessly, because it's never a given 240. I'm not saying that to be like big-headed. Like, it's never a given. But once you're in a 1 in 2 ratio, I think that's when you can start looking elsewhere as far as like opening up other divisions in the rare sort of realm in that sense. But if that makes sense for you, G-Worms, then I hope it makes sense for you. Obviously, yeah, massive thanks for becoming a member, and yeah, you will obviously unlock membership perks as far as being coming in the Discord and having your lineups built for you every game week and stuff, and the scouting streams as well, the members only one. So yeah, lads, I am going to call it a day there. We've been going nearly 3 hours. It's been an absolute marathon, but you know what? I've loved every flipping second of that. I really, really have. I'm absolutely knackered. I've streamed for like 6 hours today, including the stream with Quinny, but I love it. It's kind of what I do right now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm not complaining in any way, but I'm just saying, definitely takes a toll on you. Even though it's not physically draining, it is definitely like mentally draining, because you have to sort of speak for a long time, and this is not like, I don't need to stop story, don't need to get the violins out, lads, but you get what I'm saying. It's late, and obviously I need some kip. So yeah, I am going to go to bed now. Daniel Cooper, massively appreciate you being here, mate, and supporting, obviously, in work and stuff, distracting you. I hope I allowed you to pass some time, and everyone else watching as well, all 20 of you right now. Genuinely means a lot. It really, really does. M. Ben as well for being here for the duration. Lads who have become members, honestly, lads, you don't understand how much this means to me, like becoming a member. Like, this YouTube game isn't easy in that sense. Like, to try and make this a full-time gig is really hard, and I'm trying my best to try and just scrape enough money every month in that sense to try and make this a full-time job. And I don't, again, no violins need to be put out. Like, I'm fine, but like, what I'm saying, like, every sort of member, honestly, it fucking helps so much, like, genuinely now. So yeah, obviously looking forward to doing one of these every month. be a member stream Monday night for the lineup build for the midweek, and obviously Thursday as well. And yeah, lads, everyone, massive good luck for this weekend. I'm just seeing all the excellent streams and everything. Honestly, that means the world to me, lads. Seeing those good lucks and just and all the nice messages, genuinely. So yeah, can't be more thankful for that. And I'll catch you guys Monday. I might stream actually with Quinny on Sunday on his channel for the Rivals thing. So come along to that. Why not? And yeah, if you've not joined the Discord yet, lads, and you remember, make sure you hop in. I know most of you have, but I don't think you have G-Worms. If you have, then thanks. But if you haven't, jump in, and we'll catch you on Monday, lads.